Let's try that again. So as I was saying, the way that they're setting up, it doesn't seem like they're going to have anybody really playing in console because of the connector window being open already, along with that hole for rotation. Mute playing inside of A-bomb, projector, keeping that part of the wall closed in case of an admin push makes sense, but I'm really interested to see what the how good Empire actually is on consulate, because people always say that their consulate play is some of the best. So I just really want to see it. So Sledge being brought instead of Buck, obviously, because Buck is banned, and setting up that Claymore just in case of any kind of run out coming from Visa. But they should have somebody watching Visa on a drone, or at least like physically from the window itself. And now they're just going to be looking and seeing if anybody's inside of admin at all. The thing about this is, like, so Joystick wants to come and flank from Visa and potentially go for a run out. But there's no way it's going to happen, and once that breach charge goes off, if they know that he's there, they're not going to have any issues killing him. And he actually does get a run out. That's the ridiculous thing, is that somebody needs to be watching that, especially since the hatch is open. Wow.
Through the hatch looking for a third, but won't be able to collect.
That's just crazy.
Joystick, a great start for him and his
Joystick
team,
is so accurate,
and
he's ridiculously good
So Joystick with an excellent start, as you said,
when it comes to
really, that's just
off-the-wall play. But the push can still happen because they still have Capital on the board. Capital seems to be like the biggest influence as to whether or not pushes can go through. They're going to have trouble getting the mute jammer off the wall because they don't have Sledge anymore. But now that Mute is out of A-bomb, they're going to get rid of the. They're going to try to get rid of the Maestro, but can't. And so now it just takes Lusty on the windows, Aces to go for the plant in what they've decided is a safe location, and then Virtue to watch over the planter and anybody trying to push the planter. So he's going to position himself on the Visa stairs. Obviously they're nervous about some kind of a flank, but they're setting up a drone, so that's good. And now Virtue knows that somebody is going to be playing inside of the connector, watching towards the doorway and the peepholes. So smoke's going off to shut them off, but a nice pre-fire from Karzeka is going to take him out. Now Lusty has to push in and grab the diffuser, but he's actually going to go for the kills instead, which is arguably not the right play. But, you know, Virtue turns it into a 1v1. Wow. So that's a 4K for Virtue in the first round. Fnatic should not have won that round, especially after Aces went down. Because all Empire needs to do is wait for the smoke to clear, and then with a man advantage, push in from a few different angles at the same time.
It will be the Joystick and Virtue show. I mean, 4 kills for Virtue on the round. Joystick gets 2 for his team, but
wow,
it almost worked. Everybody
Aces stood up at the wrong time.
At the same time, and Virtue just lined them all up. What an incredible performance. The win conditions for Fnatic requires Virtue to show up as strong as he has, but you need some support for the rest of this team.
So Empire's going to go back upstairs. In their mind, they did win that round, so they just need to fix like the slight mistakes that they had. So Joystick isn't going to be as aggressive. Like, while he did get 2 picks off of his aggression, it wasn't worth it at the end of the day.
The number that was set by Pengu originally. And some praise was being given there too. This is a great start for Virtue. He needs to show up just as big as he did yesterday, but the depth on that team needs to be there, because even if you knock out Joystick, Dan, who had a bit of a showing yesterday that I think silenced the doubters when he came onto that team, replacing Shockwave's role. A lot of people weren't really so hot on Dan from the small sample that they saw of him in EU Pro League. They changed up a couple of rules.
I also anticipate that Fnatic will have better coverage of Visa.
There's 4 people on Empire who can take over a game, and Fnatic need to be able to do the same.
Not a lot of time,
But it's the exact same setup from Empire, so they feel like they can win this round. And that they are going to have a better drone placed. If that drone was there before and Joystick was still able to run out, then Fnatic just isn't watching their drones. What's up, Pui? How's it going? Welcome back once again. And a different Claymore being placed to try to counter that immediate run out. It's obvious that Joystick kind of does the same runouts over and over and over again, and they always pay off, so trying to counter it directly is smart, but the Claymore on the window is actually the better Claymore, honestly.
So there you go. Fnatic a little bit more aggressive.
So now Virtue's in, along with Twitch, in the admin, and Hibana as well, opening up different angles. Hibana's going to have to rotate around to the bathroom area, and if their droning is good, they'll have known that there's no C4 they really need to worry about, so it's not that big of a deal. But Virtue doesn't want that flank to come back. He's just trying to set up drones to help his teammates out. This breach charge prevents the breach charge he's immediately placing prevents any flank from the bottom of the Visa stairs, and that Claymore prevents any runouts from the A-bomb. So they're setting up much better, in my opinion, than they did before, along with this rotation, meaning they don't have to run all the way around through admin. So now Joystick is going for sort of a different little bit of a roam. He's probably going to jump out of this window that's open right here. And he just saw Sledge, so he knows that Sledge is trying to come in from the bottom. He sees the drone. And now he's just going to lie in wait for the run out, because they know that it's an A-bomb push, and if they can take out anybody that's on connector window, then they can have a much better hold on connector, obviously. So Lusty, once again, on this upside-down rappel, is going to win that. And they're anticipating the run-out from Joystick. And I think an impact nade just stopped Hibana from going off. Potentially. Unless it's just Sledge throwing nades in there to get rid of the mute jammer. So now with the man count even, the plant is going down, smoke's going, but Scyther's going to take it down. Rizraz trades it back onto Scyther, Joystick, or Aces gets Joystick on the flank, and now Karzeka has to watch the hallway and connector. Shepard needs to throw his smokes to be able to deny the plant, but they don't really have a lot of info on the plant, and Sledge pushing in to distract the defenders while the plant's going down is exactly what needs to happen. So now, outside the window and the bottom of Visa stairs are the best positions. Yeah, they definitely have become a force to be reckoned with. I agree, Pui. So yeah, it's bottom of Visa stairs and window are the best positions. And now they're both on the rappel, so you know they've strengthened their position by being able to trade each other out quickly. And there's even a rappel in once the timer gets low to either ensure the kill or waste a little bit more time, because the more that they force Smoke to utilize or use his ammo and reload and get ready for the next fight and stuff like that, the timer keeps going down. So, you know, once the plant was down and Fnatic retreated and repositioned themselves to watch for the plant denial, they had the round in the bag.
Because Joystick doesn't put 2 on the board early, that pressure that Dan felt in that first round still happens. Dan is struggling to hold on to projector by himself. And it's something that the defenders definitely need to correct moving forward. Empire are going to have to find a way to alleviate that pressure for Dan and assist him. This flank from Joystick not working out the second time around really hurt Empire. Now, there were a few mistakes made by Fnatic. For example,
Joystick was most likely spotted on a drone, and that prompted Aces to drop down and shoot him in the back.
Rizraz's job was to hold long desk, okay? And he let the planter be by long desk.
So now they're changing this defensive location, going to garage instead. But this doesn't have to... Fnatic doesn't have to change their lineup slightly. The only thing they could do a little bit better is maybe bring Thermite, but there's no way for them to know where Empire is going. So Hibana can work. It's just more difficult to push the garage. What I'd like to see out of them is them opening up the garage immediately. And there's no IQ, so finding Valcams is going to be difficult. It just depends on how Fnatic want to push it.
That seemed like it was premeditated, and because of that, you take out Scyther, you remove him from action, and Empire is probably not expecting you to try to get that diffuser down within 3 seconds of you killing Lusty, whose job it was to get it.
So once again, a flank drone being positioned. They know that one's in kitchen. They saw the leg, but it's a given that they're going to be in there. Fnatic look like, since they're coming in through admin, they want to go for a top-down clear. And they already have Sledge in the building based on a pre-placed drone to watch the rotation. If anybody coming down yellow stairs has to walk straight into Sledge's sights. So that's the idea there. This breaching charge going off again to prevent any to potentially prevent any rotations away, but the Valcam taking out Sledge is big there, because if anybody was playing upstairs now, they could rotate back, but there is no one upstairs, so you know. 2 C4s.
Yeah, it was a waste of a C4. Unfortunate.
There goes Joystick to Virtue, so this matchup that we will continue to look at for the entirety of the day.
I wonder where that was from. I wonder where Virtue got that kill from.
Maybe not shown.
Because maybe Joystick was playing upstairs. I have no idea.
It's unfortunate that Joystick's roam did not work out. He hid in tellers. Fnatic did not drone him out, and then when he came up for his flank, no dice.
I mean, the big thing here with taking
the breach charge also gives sound cues. That's probably how Virtue got him, was because he heard the Jaeger coming up from below him and knew that since they had droned out the immediate area that it had to be a flank from below.
And that's exactly where Virtue is right now, inside a piano.
So they've opened up garage and they want to use their last Hibana on the bathroom hatch. The bathroom hatch gives the attackers the most coverage of the back of the site. Also, depending on what walls were left soft by Empire. If the wall behind the bathroom hatch is soft, they can get a clear line of sight straight behind White Van. And now they want to push back, and they want to push the entire back side, but it just doesn't work out for them. Mainly because, like, if you have the garage open, why would you switch your push to the back? You're making so much noise opening the hatches. It's a dead giveaway of your strat or what you're intending to do. That's a really nice Maestro cam. I'm gonna start using that. So in that scenario where the wall is where the garage wall gets opened up, and you know that the attackers are pressuring you from above, and you're down in man count, so they were in a 4v3 there. So you have to think, one guy's outside the garage, one guy's going to be yellow stairs, and at least one guy's above, and you don't really know where the fourth guy is. So they have... Oh, actually, it was a 4v4 when the push occurred. But you have one person watching yellow stairs, which is going to be Maestro on his, and one person kind of watching the garage opening, and then one person in kitchen, one person like immediately in the garage. But I think because the bathroom hatch got opened up, they rotated 2 to the back, because if you can control the locker's hallway and make sure that nobody's on the Visa stairs or on the spiral staircase, you can determine that you can more easily flank along with any Valkyrie cameras that might be in position to make it so that you can flank. So I think that Empire there was anchoring with the potential for a flank that they were prepared to make. So let's see if Empire can win this one now. They're bringing Valkyrie instead of Legion. Probably going to help them out in terms of information gathering as to what's actually going on. So one in A-bomb, one on the stairs, and then potentially one getting thrown out of bathroom window. But I think he's waiting. Oh no, he already threw it, so yeah.
Back upstairs to console office. Interesting that we're not going to see a roll to die on lobby.
In the same lineup coming out of Fnatic, they know that they're most likely either attacking lobby or upstairs now that garage is no longer an option. So they don't need to change their operators in any way. The essential operators are definitely Hibana and Capital. All the rest can kind of be moved around, but without Buck on the board, this is pretty much the best they can do. The only other thing they could change is maybe Zofia for IQ or Twitch for IQ. In my mind, if Empire brings a castle, it'd be better if they kept the Zofia.
One thing I will say is we are seeing a slightly different strategy here from Fnatic, and by slightly I mean wholly different. They are no.
Oh my!
Wins that against Lusty. A beautiful shot there.
That's Capital off the board, so that's a big advantage to Empire. And there obviously is a camera out there thrown out from bathroom.
But what is their strategy is the question.
Someone's on cams for Empire giving that call out.
From below? Slowly is the key word there. Rizraz is going to take down Dan.
Nice shot.
Here we go. Back to an even man count.
So Mute's off the board. Twitch is at the bottom of yellow stairs. Most likely going to be holding the flank for everybody to get into position. Sledge is going to push up the yellow stairs. And Zofia is repelled upside down on console window. And then I'm not sure where Hibana is right now. That's the question. I really want to know where Hibana is. Okay, so Hibana's repelling there too. So the idea is the idea behind the attack is take control of yellow stairs. Sledge and Twitch play yellow stairs, watching each other's flanks, alternating between who needs to use what utility at any given time. Zofia watches over the planter from the console window, and if they still had Capital, Capital would smoke off the lines of sight, and then Aces would swing and go for the plant. But because they don't have Capital, we're going to have to see what they decide to do instead. Probably what's going to happen is, okay, so yeah, Hibana just swings in uncontested and the plant is going down, so the defenders have to do something. I don't understand how he loses that fight.
Fnatic, though, with the diffuser down, it's all on Magnet's shoulders in a 1 versus 3. But post-plan is totally manageable. With Aces on the floor outside, it doesn't seem like Empire are aware.
Magnet's not in a good spot.
Magnet waiting for the refrag, but he has to deny the diffuse. Oh, the disable rather.
Yeah, there's nothing he could do there.
Joystick, a beautiful round there, taking down
and
the on yellow stairs.
Joystick not coming up the stairs at that very second, knowing that they're in a knowing that they're in a 3v1, because he definitely knew that he downed whoever was outside on the rappel. He didn't want to give up his life, because if they didn't exactly know where Sledge was right at that moment, but they figured it out, given that, you know, Magnet wasn't moving. So they knew that Sledge was somewhere near yellow stairs at the end of the day. They knew that he was somewhere around there. And Aces actually got down jumping out the window. So they didn't know where Sledge was. They pushed up to the bomb. They were like, hey, we're on the bomb. You know, we don't know where Sledge is. Joystick's giving the call out that he's not on the yellow rappel, so they can push up and try to go for the defuse. And then once Sledge gives away his position, Joystick jumps on him. But it's suspected that he's on yellow stairs. So Smoke's watching yellow, Maestro's going for the defuse, and Joystick is just waiting to kill Sledge, because Sledge can only shoot at one person at a time. He can only watch one way at a time. But if he kills Joystick downstairs, and then he only has to watch the diffuser at that point. He doesn't have to worry about his flank. So Joystick staying alive just in that specific instance was definitely the best thing he could have done.
That's the storyline we're going with right now with them. But at the same time, I feel as though it's the same strategy with adaptations thrown in on an individual level.
Oh my.
Scyther's challenging here, and he's actually going to be the one to eat some bullets, some damage, but down to about 75, 76 HP. Still plenty manageable, but unfortunately, his peak not going his way. He'll just be playing inside a bathroom from
All right, so Ying being brought instead of Capital, I don't like this decision, but I just want to see how it works. It looks like they're just going to breach straight into the site and just go for it.
This can work out great when there's a light defense on Piano, and Magnet and Virtue are going to put one on the board each, which means Fnatic have full control of Piano, but they're starting to lose it. The refrags and the retake from Empire are on point right now. And it's going to even out into a 3-3, but Ace is still inside of Piano, and he could start for a plant with that diffuser in hand.
You know Scyther's on cam, so he's got some information, and where Aces is he's going to eat an awful lot of damage engaging with Scyther. He will require somebody to come to the rescue, but there's Shepard from above as Empire has now retaken the second floor. The ebb and flow of this matchup, and the way that Fnatic worked their way on into the console.
Really good communication from Empire there.
Above the site, and then immediately got pushed back by Empire was beautiful. It's going to set Fnatic into a position where they might not have the best idea of a follow-up. You could tell that most of their strategy involved taking control very early on and likely catching Empire off. And Scyther's brazen play on the Rizraz will give Empire the advantage. He'll be concussed for just a second, trying to track, but Virtue, this man is unstoppable. He's on an absolute heater as he takes down Scyther and will look to find two more. What a play that is by Virtue. He's got time to work with. He's not wounded that badly, but
so what can Virtue actually do here? I'm trying to think of a scenario. He's going to have to just go in somewhere.
Looking to the main floor, that they're going to have the full coverage, and diffuser is also fallen, so you're going to have to go get that. And
he's trying to be as quiet as possible, figuring out how to get into the building and maybe get an even man count.
But he's in a tricky spot, as you said. Coming up behind Joystick, might have just seen him. He will have, and it's a 1 versus 1 suddenly. Virtue versus Shepard. The smoke has to defend for 40 seconds. Virtue has been landing his shots today. He does not have any concussive blasts any longer. He does, though, have the explosive tipped rounds, and he's going to use those upstairs, knowing that the opponent is above. Shepard is playing inside a connector right now, though, and he's going to start creeping his way into CEO to try and contest from above. 20 seconds left. Virtue gets the diffuser. He's going to rotate just slightly to try and throw off his opponent. A fake out. Drop down is open. Virtue has to be aware of this. And now a rotation to the other bomb site. He dropped down open. This is going to be nearly impossible to plant, but he's going to do his best. Nope, it's not going to happen. He will have too much time. A serious mistake on Shepard's part if he loses this, and it's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
From Shepard in the
Virtue needed to try to find a different position to plant in.
A default cam left up in the main lobby.
For those that aren't aware, there is a default camera over the main door of the lobby, and that was still intact.
But he did a great job making it an even man count. So the idea behind the attack is Ash pushes in up top to take immediate control of above Piano. Hibana pushes into Piano to go for the plant. Ying throws Candelas in through the throws Candelas into the atrium hallway, and then the other two attackers push up yellow stairs. One watches into Piano and towards Zig, and the other one watches the flank below. So that covers all the angles in terms of Piano. But in terms of like information gathering and the cameras that Empire has, so like that rush can work, but it just didn't work out that round for them.
Going to persist up there for as long as he can. Some teams will take a Buck, as you noted. Buck was taken out. Like when it comes to their attacking strat,
I do think that the Buck ban.
I just want to fast forward past this lull in the action.
For the rest of his team's push.
And it's going to be a basement hold, as we talked about. And also, as we talked about, lots of
so Empire win lobby. They've won garage, and they've won upstairs once.
9 of them available if they need it.
And this is the last round in the half. So if Fnatic can win this, then they're in a good position. And they anticipate the defenders going downstairs, so they bring a Thermite this time. But they don't have Capital. again. So in this scenario, like, get rid of Zofia and bring Capital, because they don't have any smokes to push in. They did bring IQ to look for Valcams, which is good, but they don't have any smokes for an execute. So I'll be interested to see, you know, like, what is Thermite going to open specifically, and what is Hibana going to open? Because Sledge is going to get into Piano. You know that. Sledge is going to get into Piano to open the floor, to remove players that are trying to play on pipes behind white, and potentially anybody trying to rotate in and out of the kitchen door. Those are the three places that you want to open, and potentially to, like, open above the wall. Virtue or Rizraz are going to be watching flank in Visa. Someone has to watch the Visa flank, because that gives the defenders the easiest access to coming upstairs and coming above Piano and then dropping down and taking control of the holes that Sledge makes, which gives the defenders the opportunity to push back into those positions and deny plant. So Claymore down on yellow stairs, opening this up just for easy access later. Magnet going to be pushing into Piano. Like I said, Rizraz looking for any Valkyrie cameras. Aces is watching the flank right now, intending on opening the bathroom hatch at some point. They're just trying to open up as much as they can to force the defenders to say, all right, you're watching this, I'm watching this, blah, blah, blah. Like, just making the defenders preoccupied. That's just a rotate to get in and out of Piano to save time and just to cause the defenders a little bit of, you know, chaos, which is exactly what just happened when, you know, you have a C4 wasted like that. So he sees that C4 and he's just waiting, and it, you know, they set it off because they see it's getting shot at by the IQ. And so trying to remove anybody from behind White Van, going to open up to look behind White Van, probably going to push forward to yeah. Then there's the whole dare to watch behind White Van. And Virtue's just watching flank and Visa, like I said. Someone needs to watch the flank and Visa. Now, Lusty should have the garage open by now. If he doesn't, that's ridiculous because there's 30 seconds left. But see, this is what I'm talking about. That hole and then the hatch opened up gives you a clear view of behind White Van. They're obviously having trouble opening up the garage panel because they neglected to actually take out the mute jammers. Now, Joystick takes out the flank, and he's going to rotate all the way back up the stairs, I believe. So that prompts Fnatic to have to push in and go for the plant immediately. And so they are going to get it. Rizraz going to take down Scyther, gets traded out. Joystick gets Magnet from above, taking control of Piano. Now the attackers have to get outside, but Joystick is going to go from Piano to yellow stairs, pick up that kill, and now it's Lusty in a 1v2. Joystick is going to try to run out to distract him, while Karzeka goes for the defuse, and Empire wins it because Virtue lost the gunfight to Joystick on the flank.
It's the final kill. Such a hard angle to play for both Lusty as well as Joystick, but Joystick having the high ground, we would say, able to fire over those marble banisters, and because of this, well,
since Virtue dies, and Fnatic know that Joystick is going on the flank, which is going to be right here. So Joystick is gonna go on a flank. He does end up rotating upstairs, obviously, at some point. This prompts Fnatic to have to push in because they just don't want Joystick to get above them before the plant can go down. And because Aces doesn't retreat out of the garage quick enough, he gets taken down by Joystick. If you don't have top control anymore, you can't stay in the garage after the diffuser's planted. You just can't.
So, the question now becomes, is Fnatic going to be better off on the defense, as you were talking about? I mean,
so that was just Joystick's individual effort, you know, paying dividends, coming in huge.
I agree with what you were talking about earlier.
And now the sides switch, and we're going to see how Fnatic tries to defend this. But Empire seems to be very good so far, but I think that Fnatic's attack was a little bit better there, It was just the timing of the flank that caught Virtue off guard.
When we get to those, if we get to Clubhouse, that's a big if. Now, if also Fnatic can put up a valiant effort here on Consulate, that's going to give them a lot of confidence moving on to the next map, whatever the result ends up being.
If you can keep Consulate close.
So IQ being brought right away by Empire, I think, is the right move. We kept seeing, you know, Twitch coming out from Fnatic over and over and over again, but then once they saw that there's no IQ, you know, Empire switches to bringing in Valkyrie and they just start winning defense rounds. Because Fnatic have only won the very first 2 rounds in which they didn't bring Valk in either of those defenses.
Against a team like Empire to outduel them on those maps. And there's strategy involved in that. But there are teams who go into it expecting to lose.
So we're going to see the same kind of admin take. And not using the shield is, I don't understand why the shield's there if they're not going to use it. This actually gives Joystick better angles to use now that it's just there. So opening up the angle from admin to look all the way through into projector by the windows. And then, a jump out from Virtue. And then that's going to get retraded immediately because of the timing. But Thermite dead. You know, that's a good trade, but they don't need Thermite attacking up here. They just brought Thermite in case they went downstairs.
This is going to imperil Empire's push because they're going to have to go through single doorways rather than a much larger opening that you would have likely seen the smokes from Shepard work on to try and isolate that wall.
Okay, so Capitao into admin. Oh, nice shot from Joystick. And another run out. Aces will pick up that kill into Joystick, but the damage is done. It's 3v2. Maestro's really weak. Karzeka going to be watching over the plant from the windows. Shepard's going to be watching the hallway / the Visa doorway. And Scyther in this position should be the one going for the plant, but he doesn't have the diffuser right now. Oh, that's scary. Okay, so Shepard has Visa cut off, and now Karzeka needs to go in for the plant, which is what's happening right now. He's trying to get rid of the Evil Eye to get rid of information, but he can't. Magnet's downstairs, and the diffuser is going down. Shepard has to be watching it, but they know exactly where he is, so they're just going to shotgun him through the floor to down him, but the diffuser goes down, and Karzeka doesn't die there, which is ridiculous. Aces is crawling down yellow to get picked back up, so they can retake, but with this amount of time, Empire should be in positions to watch the diffuser where they're pretty much invincible. No, because you could see Joystick could just walk past it. They obviously wanted to play that for a reason, but then, you know, didn't have it. So, like, yeah, he can vault there, but it doesn't vault him into the hallway, if that makes sense. But yeah, so with the diffuser planted, most likely a drone watching the diffuser, and then both of the attackers playing further back to cut off one rotation up the stairs and to kind of cover for each other since they're in range of each other for an easy refrag. The defenders didn't really have much they could do there. But they really just needed to play that. If they're going to set that shield up, they need to just play the shield. Because if they're not playing the shield, then like they just wasted utility. That could have been barbed wire in a different position. Or that could have been extra impacts. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Pretty on point. He knows what he's gonna expect, but he just doesn't execute it perfectly. Though the second run out did work out for Aces on that, expecting another Claymore, but good caution there. Overall, that round, Fnatic were focused on the wrong points of contact that Empire were trying to put up. It was clear and simple, an admin take, and Fnatic were, I think, messing around.
All right, so let's see how Fnatic changed their strategy here. So instead of a smoke, they have a mute to deny droning.
Being applied to projector was just
and they brought a Thermite again.
On the way from Fnatic.
Valcams are going to be going out, and if Joystick spawns on the other side of the map like they think he will, because if they know that IQ spawns by admin, throw cameras out of bathroom and connector, and you should be safe.
Heading on into this tournament, I would have said Empire was the favorite. Some of the expectations were dulled a bit just by the fact that Shockwave was dropped from the roster seemingly last minute, messing up a good thing a lot of people thought. But Dan's contributions have been quite strong, especially in this game so far. He's bottom fragging, only 2 and 7, but he's been on a very hard support role. So don't expect him to be in a position where he is the main engager in a lot of these fights.
So it's going to be another admin push. Probably going to be the exact same positions we saw played before. No shield in the hallway this time, see, so probably what ended up happening there is they either said to themselves, oh, if we're not going to use the shield, we should just bring something else. Or the shield was a mistake. They accidentally brought the shield, thinking they were going to defend somewhere else, so they might have been able to utilize the shield. So Joystick has taken up his position here, but Magnet's waiting for it. That's a good read. They know that Joystick is very aggressive, and he got there pretty quickly. Karzeka is kind of far behind, so I think Joystick kind of got a little bit ahead there, because at the same time, like, all right, think about it this way. So the attackers, okay, so look at what's happening. Yes, Keeb, Empire did win the event. So look at what's happening here. Admin, they have admin control. Zofia and IQ were in there. Thermite is most likely above Capitao, and Capitao is by the front door, right? So they know that the defenders are trying to play below there, and instead of waiting for his teammates to get into position to potentially execute on the site, because you can get to a point where you can execute onto projector very quickly if admin isn't contested. So if Joystick would have waited 30 seconds for Shepard to get this kill onto Virtue, it might have forced Magnet to move to a different location that he should be playing, because Magnet shouldn't be peeking that hallway, if that makes sense. Like, Magnet's peeking that hallway because he's anticipating extra aggression. But if Joystick waits 30 seconds at most, and I'm using 30 seconds as like a benchmark. If he waits 10 seconds and Shepard picks up this kill, Magnet moves, now Joystick can peek potentially and be safe, because Magnet has to rotate to the position he's supposed to be defending. Does that make sense?
Downstairs, going to shut down one of the roamers. With that roamer gone,
and also what this does is it leaves Karzeka alone in admin. He's supposed to be opening up walls, he's supposed to be opening up rotations, and there's a, you know, a cam spotting him if there was a pulse or something to be played, and the hatch isn't even open, I think, in admin. Luckily, Scyther's watching his flank, but if Joystick is dead and they don't have that extra coverage, you know, like, that leaves Karzeka open to be flanked from multiple angles. Obviously, that's not what's going to happen. So Lusty goes for a jump out. It nets nothing. But now he's used it as a rotation. Dan picks up the kill from the upside down rappel. That's super OP. Won't be that way in this next update. But, you know, hey, whatever. Scyther places the Claymore and is going to repel on B-Bomb for a little bit, just to try to get a pick and even up man count a little bit more, open up some extra angles. Yeah, so a double run out there relieves that pressure, but Aces is still in connector, and Dan just saw Vigil rotate, so they know that Vigil's in bathroom potentially. They know that he's either in bathroom or in the, like, desk area, and Aces is actually pushed all the way up in a ridiculous fashion. So one's outside the window and one's planting. Oh, Dan knew it because of probably a pre-placed drone or just, like, good game sense as to what's going on. If he pushes up the hallway and gets the kill in admin, he's probably going to be coming from admin. So, yeah.
Laying down the trigger a little bit earlier. There were constant pings going down. He knew that Dan was in that position, and whether he's on plant or not, You got 80 darn bullets in that LMG. Just start firing. Empire now find themselves on.
Has been having some pretty fantastic rounds individually.
What I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So Fnatic have
Didn't mean to skip that far forward.
Fnatic has just almost single-handedly rolled over, and I know you have to give a lot.
All right, so
Empire, but at the
Legion
same
and
time,
Pulse
there have
being
just
brought
been
now
mistakes
instead
made
of Jaeger and
it seems like.
Yeah.
And if I'm trying not
Jaeger
to
and
be too much of
Valk.
an armchair psychologist, it seems like the pressure
So
is
it means,
really
to me,
mounting
what that says is that they want to contest admin.
At the same time,
But the push from Empire is actually outfitted to combat this, because the operators that you want to fight an admin push are obviously Pulse and Legion, and IQ is good versus both of those. Yeah, he could have pre-fired it, but he also didn't want to give away his position potentially. There's a lot of different little nuances that you could say there. It's like, yeah, he should pre-fire there, you know, but like, how many times have you been in a game and said, oh man, I should have just pre-fired it. I knew he was there, but you know, it just sometimes just doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. It's easy as a viewer to say, like, you know, what people should be doing in certain scenarios, but a lot of it is communication based.
Two offsite players for Fnatic have been silenced, leaving Lusty
So,
in position to walk on up the yellow stairs.
Obviously, if anybody's wondering, like, why was Dan playing outside of police line, they know that there's defenders upstairs. That's a common rotation back, so he just opens the window to gun him down as he drops the hatch for a retreat.
So Fnatic have no bodies on the site.
Ace is so aggressive with Maestro. I really like to see it. It's a great, you know, he's really good at it. And Fnatic's just aggressive in general on this upstairs roam.
This call from Fnatic working out quite well. There's another from Lusty, picking up a second on the Shepherd, and just not expecting this aggression from Fnatic on yellow stairs to try and turn the tides of this round.
They did have one, but it might have been angled. It might not have been angled appropriately right at that moment.
There's a beautiful shot as well on to Dan just outside of garage, leaving only Joystick. 1 versus 3. And he's got one lit opponent, but he's not even going to get past Lusty. A beautiful round from Lusty on the Bandit.
Because they definitely had the Maestro cam. If you were looking at the windows from the balcony, they had the Maestro cam on the right against the wall. But they didn't have any utility to get rid of it. But all it takes is for someone to watch it, and if Maestro tries to get on it and use it, like, it's gone. And maybe it was angled more, like, towards the right, looking into the hallway for whatever reason. Because I think that from the angle they had it at, it could see the top of yellow stairs. So, and they had a different Maestro cam looking in the opposite direction down the hallway.
All of Fnatic moved up. There was not a single body on that basement floor. Aces was the closest
Maybe.
you could see the main lobby of the spiral stairs.
Man,
From Lusty,
Fnatic was just going in this round.
on your screen right now.
All the confidence level, the level of confidence they had, like pushing these, like doing these jump outs and rotating up Visa stairs even after they lose 2 people, like,
It's a good performance.
it's good.
Both Lusty and Aces doing the work that they need to do. If you're
All right, so Empire's still on match point, and they keep winning this attack. They keep winning this attack over and over and over again. And Fnatic going back to bringing Valkyrie and Jaeger, it makes sense to me. I'm trying to think, what was Lusty playing before when they were defending upstairs? Because now they have an alibi. It might have been Mute. Probably was Mute. So this is, okay, so this is what I was talking about before. So Joystick lost the fight 2 rounds ago because he didn't wait for his teammates to get into position to force the defenders to actually defend the angles that they have to defend against and execute. So now, uncharacteristically, because this is the first time I think we've seen Joystick just droning the immediate area that he's actually going to be pushing, because Magnet was in a weird spot last time that got him killed. Yeah, it's hard to say, like, you know, would Fnatic have won the tournament if Empire had lost? I don't know. It's hard to say. All these teams are great. All the teams in this tournament are great. So now they're droning out a little bit heavier. And what I've noticed is that Shepard, as Capital when attacking here, has gone to 3 different places. He's been in admin, he's been outside of Visa, and he's been by police line. So he's definitely their flex in terms of positioning for this. Now he's in admin again. Opening up that to shoot a firebolt arrow above it to remove anybody that might be playing behind the bomb. It's smart. And now Fnatic, now that they are recognizing the positions of Empire, because after like 3 or 4 rounds, what's up, Focus? How's it going? After 3 or 4 rounds, the same attack over and over and over and over again. As defenders, you have to have a feel for where the attackers are going to be. So they've said, all right, at least one in admin, because they don't know they don't know the positions for a fact. So I'm just going off of how they're marking out the map. So at least one in admin, one's definitely on the window of the projector window balcony, one's probably outside watching runouts, and then you have Joystick constantly pushing down the hallway. So they know where 4 of the attackers are, potentially.
Fnatic decide to leave. Also, I mean, 2 minutes wasted. It could have just been a call on the timer alone.
So they're going to be trying to position themselves for a flank. And as you can see, there is one outside, there is on the projector, there's 2 inside of admin. But their pre-placed drones are very good here. Oh my, that's just a gun down.
We saw a flank drone get established downstairs as well inside a cafeteria, so if there's a rotate happening at any point, Empire is going to know of it.
So let's just see how this attack goes out. So burning the ADS so Karzeka can use his Zophias to impact the hallway. Yeah, Lusty goes for a run out and dies. And now they're just trying to block off the hallway and push in. They know that someone's downstairs throwing smoke, so they're going to try to go kill him immediately. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Oh wow. That was a chaotic attack from Empire, and Fnatic just held the angles they needed. They still had upstairs control, and they had plant denial in terms of smokes and Maestro cams that never got taken out. Okay, so this is the first time we're seeing a Tellers and Archives defense. And Capcan here can work, but it all depends on where Joystick pushes from. If Joystick pushes from Garage over, he's going to find the Capcans. If he pushes admin, like he's been doing, this could catch somebody in a Capcan trap, and he is going to push admin. So this bodes well for Fnatic and their Capcan, strat here. But it's kind of like the other positioning of either I can't tell if those were either lesions or they probably were lesions, but if they were alibis, then that's not good to lose those like that. There's also going to be a very awkward analysis of this round because it's kind of hard to analyze attacks and defenses for defensive locations that aren't utilized very often. So, there's going to be, Empire is going to be droning a lot, trying to figure out exactly where the defenders are.
Not holding on to top floor. They're going for a retake strategy. I mean, you can easily predict the retake strategy here from Fnatic. They use yellow stairs to highway up to the top floor and start to retake when it comes to the dying seconds of the round.
So yeah, the general idea of the attack is take control of admin, open up the floor above it, above Tellers, remove any defenders from tellers that you can, and then plant on top of a desk to avoid a C4. And then, based on Fnatic's positioning, it looks like they're just trying to waste as much time and make sure that Empire don't feel safe ever. But if Empire can control the Visa staircase, then they've pretty much got it in the bag.
You know how easy it is to patrol the stairs on so many different maps. I mean, it's part of what originally made maps like Cafe and others difficult to take, because you could hold down the entire map with 1 or 2 staircases.
We got 4 attackers in this area, and they're just trying to get rid of as much stuff as they can. So they're going to control the staircase, they're going to control the hallway, and the person planting is going to plant on top of a desk, so he doesn't get C4'd. Just to deny that potential.
You also have one in the cap kit. Karzeka will drop and look to contest. Oh, he'll find Magnet for free. And the plant will go down from Shepard. And this is where Fnatic will really need to work very hard. Dan downs one and Cypher another. All the dominoes falling, and it appears that Empire will have a stranglehold on this round. Diffuser going down as well. And there is another body that will fall in the hands of Rizraz.
Yeah.
And it's a flawless round to close out.
So there we go. That's the first map between Empire and Fnatic. Honestly, I think that defending that location is too difficult, personally.
I need to have those subtle details. I think that's soon.
Come on, let's get to the next match.
I think we're gonna have. I'll just go ahead and pop.
Okay, disconnect.
And yet another 2-0 victory for a team. We have not seen
all right, so Fnatic's already played Border versus Norarengo, and I'm kind of interested to see if they play it any differently, because when they were playing Norarengo, it was just a ton of Valkyrie runouts, just tons of Valkyrie, tons of IQ. What's up, Zippier? How's it going, dude? So I'm just interested to see how they play it.
This Valkyrie camp outside gathering a lot of information on the west side of the building.
Yeah, Border just seems to be all about Valk cams recently.
That will go, I believe, to Banana, and that's a lot of ground covered by that one bolt.
Doesn't hit a single person on Fnatic's side though, so whether it was used to force.
And now they're getting ready for another run out.
Looks like we might have another run out here as Virtue sits downstairs inside of that stock room. He's got the prepped window and a Valkyrie camera to give him information. Run out might be telegraphed, or jump out might be telegraphed here, but it does appear that for the time being, everybody from Empire has...
But yeah, Empire are having trouble getting control of CC,
very commonplace for Empire,
and when they're stalling out and just sitting on repels, it prompts Fnatic to look at their Valk cams and jump out. But now that they have control of CC, as you can see, Valkyrie is rotated back up, and they're trying to just hold and waste time.
Usually when you open it up, it's because there's a mirror on the board. Dan has been able to take up quite a bit of ground.
This hole in the soft wall right here is actually really strong too, because you can't just walk up to the wall safely. And Maestro's playing it with an ACOG and a shield behind half wall. And then now more runouts. Frost mat. Unlucky.
Dan will take out Rizraz, and it appears that the downed member of Scyther, down member of Empire and Scyther, will be picked on up.
Well, I mean,
just shattered after work. You mean like you're tired?
Sure. So Empire in a very difficult win situation here. Ace is trying to contest from half wall, and he will be down.
Oof.
That's a really important kill there from Empire. There's no one else in Armory, so Fnatic have to retake their own site now. Dan going for a plant on default spot, and this might just work out for Empire in the post plant. You can see 2 players from Fnatic rushing up by lockers, trying to save their teammate, trying to retake this position. Dan holding on to his planted diffuser, but he will be down and finished off. It's just Karzeka in the 1 versus 4, but he's got a lot of lit opponents, and Lusty finishes things off. A beautiful round there from Lusty and Fnatic on the retake. A nice try from Empire to get the plant down.
Great retake from Fnatic and a round from Lusty.
Okay.
What I say only 3 minutes ago, 4
It
minutes ago,
looked like Empire was actually going to pull that round out. But because of the amount of time that Empire wasted trying to get CC control and all the drones that got taken out, what that did is it gave Fnatic the ability to avoid pre-placed drones that would typically be watching for a flank at different times. They also weren't even able to drone these frost mats, but pretty much what ended up happening was they were able to isolate Aces and take him out, which is what they're supposed to do. Then, you know, they're able to get the diffuser down and try to get in positions to let the time run out. But because they don't have pre-placed drones to give certain call-outs, they're not able to compensate based on the man count. Because they can only watch 2 angles at one time. If it's a 2v4, all it takes is 2 people flanking from at least one direction or 2, and they're done. No matter how much health they have, if you're not looking at the person who's shooting at you, you can't kill them. So, Fnatic delaying in CCTV won them the round based on the amount of utility that got used. And then once, like I said before, once Empire was stagnant in their positioning, sort of waiting for information to make moves, the Vault cams come into play.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
Oh!
It's not going to get any damage, it's not going to get any kills, but it will, I guess, spook Empire. Maybe they're scared, they're shaking their boots.
Yeah, Fnatic's trying to just get some free picks. And they're also throwing Vault cams out of these like rotations, which is sort of like next level spawn killing. Like you go for a spawn kill, you throw a cam out while the spawn kill's going on. It's less likely that the attackers are, you know, anticipating it. They probably even also, you know, they even saw they reinforced that just to, you know, watch their back. So, as an east stairs take for a downstairs bomb site, Scyther just wants to make sure that everything up to the square lobby is clear, and then they're just going to start pushing forward. I'm surprised Dan doesn't see that guy. They're not shooting at each other. It's weird.
From Fnatic, that they're likely going to have somebody, maybe 2 bodies, committed to hard holding these angles and doing flank watch, etc. It stands to reason that you'd have Shepard do that. He's got the M249, he's got an awful lot of bullets, he's got a clean scope.
Yeah, that's the fight that I thought was going to happen earlier, but I guess that wall wasn't as open as I thought it was.
A little bit of damage. Empire, we've noticed how slow their attacks have been recently on the last map and now on this one. And that's going to continue here. They've taken control of offices. And one thing I also noticed is that Fnatic are not contesting the roam clear. They're not putting bodies in positions to get picked. Fnatic are going pure and simple for retake strategies. There's not even anybody holding on to archives right now. There's 2 anchors, and there's a lot of roamers in armory.
This is the first body that's going to fall as you see 2 members of Fnatic playing very deep over by the armory wall. Magnet is off the board, and Fnatic will find themselves trailing with only a minute left in round number 2. Magnet had fallen inside of Customs down below as you had seen that he was just trying to keep Empire on their toes. And this was a strategy that worked well through the last.
With less than a minute left, and you're down a man, as Fnatic, you need to position yourselves to watch the push from any direction because you don't know where it's coming from. What's up, Patriot? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. So, you have 4 bodies, 1 in bathroom, 1 in vents, 1 in B-bomb, and 1 still upstairs. The person upstairs could also rotate and play customs, but it's mute, probably with a couple mute jammers to help him. So he's just trying to delay more and more time. So right now what's happening for the attackers, as they're taking control of the upstairs, Dan is in CC, and he's opening up the wall to make sure that no one flanks up metal stairs to retake top control. Because keeping top control for Empire is imperative. They have to keep it. So Dan is watching this flank. Scyther is already at the bottom of East, and he's droning it, so no one's flanking from there. They're checking all the areas possible. They know that someone's playing in the corner by vents. So Virtue picks up 1 kill, and now Aces wants to challenge Shepard, or excuse me, challenge Scyther, but he loses the fight once he sees the Claymore going, or the Thermite hole going down. One person has you know, moved back up. So, like, Virtue is still upstairs. They know it because he got that kill above, so Dan has to push. And now Lusty's rotated back into bathroom, and they're isolating where the attack is coming from. But Virtue still has top control, and, you know, Fnatic just wasted enough time and won enough gunfights upstairs to win the round. Wow, Zippier. Sounds like you deserved it. Sounds like you deserved it.
Which sides? This is going to be probably their best opportunity until we get to round number 5, depending on what happens with Fnatic's defense. Because as you mentioned, it's an off site. It's not a common site for teams to play on. There are major weaknesses.
Magna was trying to get to East Stairs to throw a cam and couldn't get there in time. And Joystick just guns down Rizraz off the spawn.
I mean, he was just sitting next to the outside wall.
I don't know what happened, Keeb, but you're fine. You don't need to apologize for anything.
A little bit random spraying through the window.
Okay, so this is a bathroom teller's hold. Joystick getting up on AC and preventing that run out. He's now looking for Vault cams. He's finding them. He sees where a few of them are. But the attackers need to take control of upstairs. Pushing from Armory is safe because you wouldn't anticipate that attackers or defenders would place utility and things there. But Virtue wants to go for this run out, and, you know, Joystick didn't find that camera. So that's good intel that the defenders have to defend, but, you know, they're not really contesting anything, probably because they're a man down. They're just trying to waste as much time as possible.
Deal with those roamers upstairs because he's got most of them distracted by his teammates on the balcony.
It's a big loss to lose that EMP.
Well, Patriot, they have to have upstairs control attacking the vent site. They have to. Like, if you lose top control, then you can't push because the defenders have holes open to watch angles that are establishing rotations and entry into the site. So now they have control of upstairs. Dan kills one trying to come up the main stairs for a flank, and then now just takes out another. So, you know, with top control gone, and they're in a 5v2, Empire are sure to win this round. There's no way. And Lusty is still trying to contest this main staircase. There's just too many angles in a 2v5 on this particular bomb site for them to establish choke points for the attackers to run through. But the defenders have to, or excuse me, the attackers have to take upstairs control. Because if they don't, like, there is a chance that if Empire get into the site quickly, they can, you know, plant the diffuser before Fnatic even notices. But based on the operators that Fnatic are bringing, that's very unlikely. And when you're dealing with two pro teams playing against each other at, you know, a very high level, you don't want to take those chances. Oh, hold on a second. I skipped too far forward. Sorry.
There's nowhere to fall back. If you lose control of top floor,
Canadian just dyed his hair. That's all he did.
Retake that site. And
so
even retake above the site. So it's,
yeah,
it's a tricky round.
that defense wasn't that great, but Rizraz getting picked off early was definitely not what they wanted out of that. If Rizraz hadn't been picked off early and they could have maybe delayed the push through Armory, utilizing Vigil and his ability to, you know, stay sort of hidden from drones, maybe that round would have gone a little bit differently based on time management. But Bathroom Tellers is just a hard site to hold in general.
Tends to give you a much better fighting chance, being completely honest.
Absolutely.
If you can hold down break room for as long as humanly possible on defense on border, then your chances also increase by quite a fair bit.
I don't know if, I mean, he's, oh, okay. So
double frost mat.
Beginning of the round. Okay.
And he's opening the window for him.
It's unlikely
and then decides to put it back up. Not quite sure what the point of that was. Unless he's just trying to distract the drone from seeing where the cameras are going out, but this is the same camera that that they used during the Norango match. It's on the top of the
Magnet takes down Joystick, but he gets refragged by Karzeka. Good positional awareness there for Karzeka to get that refrag.
That's a good trade. Like taking out IQ quickly before she can find the cameras and then trading your life. You can argue that the C4 you can argue that the C4 was more important than IQ's equipment, but I think that the already thrown out cams are more powerful than the C4. Yeah, Norango played great. They played sort of scared on border when they played against Fnatic, and I personally think that if they would have excuse me, if they would have brought an IQ, they wouldn't have lost they potentially would have won the first 3 rounds that they lost.
On Repel, just looking on in towards monitors, it's Dan who has really shown his prowess. Improved himself on that Thatcher roll. He's traded out the hard breach onto Scyther, but Virtue will find Shepard as here you go.
So Virtue runs out based on the Valk cams again, and Lusty runs out too. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's just Fnatic's gameplay. It's the Valk cams. But the thing is like you might argue like, oh, why don't other teams just ban Valk versus Fnatic? If you ban Valk, then you can't run out. Like border is just a very run out, coordinated, oriented map. Otherwise, without Valkyrie, you lack so much info as to where the attackers are coming from. The attackers are pretty much right on top of you and covering all of the angles that they need covered before you can even react.
Great position to get the refrag. You could see even if he held the angle, it probably would not have been a refrag, but instead just a full cover. That was a pretty common run out for Virtue. All of these engagements making a whole lot of sense on the side of Fnatic. And this right here, Lusty on the outline has been
that was a great
so
shot.
Great with that op.
And there's no echo. Those are two very important tools when you look at defending customs, especially when you're going to hold monitors from above.
So,
but you can get it done with a Valkyrie. You can get it done with a Frost as well. In fact, the setup that we saw on that monitors.
It looks like they're switching their attack a little bit.
Just to offsite.
Excuse me. Oh no, this is just them attacking downstairs again. Okay. So yeah, they're attacking offices again. Scyther's going to push down east stairs like we saw before. And opening that wall gives a huge line of sight from this window. And probably from this angle, it's ridiculous. So they're cutting the entire armory in half so that they can isolate the defenders as they try to rotate and get droned out. So as they get droned, their initial reaction is to shoot the drone and move to another position. This limits the amount of positions that they can actually play. Yeah, it is the same with Skyscraper, but Skyscraper is so annoying to play on. And look at this, we're just seeing all these runouts because the Valk cams are just the right place.
Down Dan because Dan was going to try and punish Magnet for his run out. It's good teamwork there with Riz and Mag.
The Valk cams establish where the push is coming from, and then they isolate attackers that are by themselves and run out on them. That's the general strategy there.
Scyther aware of the presence inside a bathroom will fell aces, and Virtue goes down 2, but Shepard will lose his fight above. Rizraz is able to do it, and Lusty will just
oh my goodness.
And then go for
Empire's just trying to push sight, and then gosh, this is a great round.
Member that's upright right now, unless Karzeka decides to withstand, and that's exactly what he'll do. Joystick gives his position away. Oh, a C-Far from Rizraz will connect, and what little is left of Karzeka will be there to grab the diffuser. Loses from above, and Fnatic will end up.
That was a great round.
Going there in the latter part of that round. That's 4 rounds now through the first 5. Their home in the minds of Empire.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Fnatic has figured out how to dismantle the Russians, but it's not a foolproof strategy as we saw on Consulate.
It's just constant runouts. It's just constant runouts. It's ridiculous.
We've seen this before from Fnatic. They are going to hold on to CCTV though. They do have a rotation here, so they can fall off this position moving forward.
God. It's just ridiculous. Constant runouts. The Valcams are just so strong.
It's Riz to delay this round as long as possible.
It's a flawless round last time, so it's already been a more successful start.
That's true. That's true.
And Shepard will find Lusty as well. So Fnatic just do not look well suited on this site at all. Rizrazuk fallen early in the very first defense on this site is now going to just survive a little while longer.
So yeah, as you can see, Vigil was supposed to be used to waste time once they determined with the Valcams where the push is coming from. Vigil got taken down early the round before, so it changed the entire scope of their defense. But this is just a very hard site to defend regardless, Bathroom Tellers. So, you know, but if they're going to trade out defensive rounds like this, where they win their 2 regular defenses then lose their off, that's not that bad. That's not a big deal at all.
Though it does seem that Dan is aware of Ace's position, and yes, indeed, he will shut him down. And there's the final kill as well for Dan. So Empire.
Yeah, they're just like, you can see it on their faces, like they're just like, we're not winning this defense.
And the first half.
They're just like, no, we're not winning this defense. Screw it.
Bandit. A Bandit, powerful. Kaid, a little bit more versatile, though not able to deny certain kinds.
Did that do a bunch of damage?
A little bit of team damage done just now.
Yeah, it did. Did a bunch of team damage.
Is the camera wrong? Wow.
Yes, the camera's wrong.
Hey, Virtue switch teams. So is Aces. Oh no. That's not actually. That's it's a joke, by the way.
It's an inside job.
Yeah, as it turns out. Now.
All right, so Empire bringing Cade. I'm really interested to see how they actually use it, and maybe this will be just like a 1-round thing. And Finka being brought by Fnatic. This is something we didn't see when they played against Noarengo, so this is most likely, without a hard breach, going to be some sort of rush. But they're already like kind of in the situation where they're not rushing anything. And there's also no Valkyrie for Empire. Like, it's just confusing to me.
Yeah, I think Empire is setting up for some aggression. That's what they want right now, and it's clear by the way that they've set up this site. Scyther trying to play the angle to challenge onto his opponents, but Rizraz
there's a hot breach in through the sandwich window.
A flurry of kills for Fnatic, and they have all of the angles locked down, as well as the diffuser planted. This aggressive setup for Empire, not able to come into full power, but Dan is going to get the first kill for his team before finally
it's a good setup.
Shepard now, the last alive, has to 1 versus 4, and he doesn't even know where the diffuser's planted. He's going to figure it out shortly. Can he even get enough kills to allow for that disable? Challenging on Sandwich. He knows someone's on Repel there. He knows there are players outside of Armory Wall. He's trying his best to get these picks, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's
him down. And what a beautiful start.
Fnatic just went in there.
It was a huge commitment over towards the eastern side of the building, over inside of offices, over inside of Fountain. And
so they're picking the exact same ops, and they're setting up the exact same way. So now Fnatic brings Blackbeard instead of Finka. So let's see what kind of strat this is. This could be like the same kind of strat, but based on offices. And since Blackbeard's spawning over here, I'd imagine that, yeah, it is like another rush strat, but on the offices side instead, just to try to keep Empire on their toes. And the castle barricades, I'm kind of curious to see how they'll come into play here.
So they will go downstairs to Ventilation Workshop. They could have possibly defended Armory again. They will likely do so if they prove to be successful on Vent and Workshop on this main floor. For the time being, Fnatic are bringing a bit of a different outlook on this round. They've subbed out the Finka for a Blackbeard, as Empire's commitment is going to likely be on wearing down the utility that's on the board of the attackers. This is something that Noarengo was able to do very well against Fnatic, and if Team Empire can have that same success...
See you later, Pui. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Zipier Valkyrie is just a very powerful operator to use.
Actually, pardon me, Electro Claws. That's going to force Dan to switch one of his to a different position. Might be able to get some utility there, but there's no hard breach on the side of Fnatic.
He's just gonna go for Cade.
The Buck, who was not banned this match, will be coming in, but Rizraz is the one credited with the kill. He's able to get refragged, though, by Karzeka.
And wow, what a bold entry that was. Magnet was still in and was looking for a possible kill of his own, with Aces not too far off. Trying to push all the defenders that are currently playing from Empire on the second floor down to the level below. Joystick is waiting by the armory wall, and you see that Scyther's lost a bit of HP. Pretty good timing by Fnatic.
If Lusty sits right here, he'll just get Joystick trying to rotate.
Need to make something work. Lusty's got this full reinforced wall. It's just tempting him to push on in, and Joystick will be distracted for the time being. The bullet tracers will be visible to Lusty, so he knows that Joystick is playing in that location. Oh no, but he hesitates, and because this Joystick is there, but he looks the wrong way. It's a joint effort there from Fnatic, as two bodies will be able to trade out Lusty if he had fallen, as now Virtue will hit the road and get as quickly into.
So now that they have top control, they open this hatch to watch any rotations from the main lobby.
But it's still reliable at this angle.
And
Empire has now taken complete control
oh
of
my.
that first floor. Map control on that second floor is all Fnatic's, and they will continue to push. Virtue
this is a
finds
rough
Shepard. It's a
defense for
4v2.
Empire. Things just
Scyther
aren't
wounded,
going their
Karzeka
way.
still at half HP. 30 seconds to go. There's no hard destruction on Fnatic's side. And they know this because once they take control of Bathroom, they can push on in.
Oh, man.
And Magnet will do so. With that skeleton key proving to be quite good. Scyther didn't have very much left, but it doesn't really matter. Karzeka playing around the server stacks, but he will exit the server on that round. It'll be match
Yeah, they just
point
top
for
control, rotate to east stairs, push Bathroom once they have man count. Because there was someone right behind Buck to get the trade.
Map 3 of the Milan finals looking extremely likely.
Now we're on match point now, like you say, and this is this take. But Fnatic are good at upsetting their opponents and bringing things that are a little bit different.
So now Empire's playing that same open wall with the Maestro, which I like. And Ace is actually bringing Maverick this time. It's interesting.
You could possibly bring more traps. You could possibly try and slow down any push that you may find. Maybe is it more information? Well, for Empire, it looks to be a pretty similar setup to what we saw on the first Armory defense, except there's no Kaid on the board. Dan will sub out for the Bandit, whose head is spotted for just a second, and Lusty coming tantalizingly close to being able to put his team up by one with the match on the line. Clubhouse awaits us, as we said, the very first best of three. If we don't see Empire be able to do what seems to be the impossible, which is win 4 in a row from here on out and then take us through overtime. That's a good, clean entry from Aces.
Oh, I like that. They opened up the wall, the triple panel wall in Skylight to get an angle behind the monitors from East Stairs. I really like that. That's very smart.
Funny to think that this Empire map was much closer, at least so far.
Now, well, it's going to be a fight back here from Dan, who has been doing well on border.
But Dan has the angle from inside of office, so it kind of... Like, the two angles kind of negate each other because they're both watching two different lines of sight intersecting right here at the refrigerator.
To talk about him. The long angle he's playing from offices into CCTV, bearing a lot of fruit. This is a powerful contestant from into CCTV from offices. And he's just going to keep.
And then he even has the angle through the rotational and fountain.
And it doesn't really look like Fnatic
very well thought out
Scyther,
angles from Empire.
Another on the Aces as Dan gets taken down, but Lusty has 3 more opponents to find to try and give his team.
All right, Keeb, sounds good.
Doesn't seem very likely, at least for the time being, given the setup that Empire has and the utility that's still on the board with the smoke and with a lesion. But oh, Karzeka doesn't really see him coming, but Lusty gets felled. Scyther with the 3 final kills for his team, and Empire will take their very.
Yeah, break room.
He's been one in the right position at the right time, the hot breaches and whatnot.
Empire didn't push into break room because Bandit's holding the angle from office. Yeah, the Empire's holding the angle in office, and so Fnatic can't push in without taking Bandit out first. And Bandit was actually in a really well fortified position. Oh no, don't tell me he's going to try to nade him underneath. He is. Oh my god. That's just good intel from the drone, most likely above the little dome in office.
Something that you don't see happen very often. It's something that people are aware you can do. You can nade from below there. It just usually most teams will try and nade from above, but that can be countered by the ADS. The nade from below.
So Mute Jammer is showing to not be very effective right in those positions, but they're most likely positioned to stop the wall from getting opened up. But that actually isn't, so Virtue... He still has his concussion, so maybe that... Maybe Magnet naded it or something, or IQ shot one somehow.
He'll fall off, but he gets found by Virtue. There you have it. And taken out of action. Fnatic now have a very firm control on the second floor.
Oh, that was close.
Strong grasp, and they can continue to translate this. But they only have a third of the
so
to go. So this could possibly
top-down control established. Main stairs is being watched by Lusty, or it was just for a second there. And now Scyther's going to rotate right as Lusty moves away, and the pre-placed drones are getting shot, and Scyther's going to decide to move back instead. Because as you can see, Lusty immediately was coming back to look at the main stairs. So, good coverage by the offense on their flanks, because that's the only way that Empire can win this round.
It's a clutch or kick scenario. He will need an ace clutch. He's grabbed one. He's got 4 more bodies to find. He's far off site. Plant going down from aces. It's been very quiet from Fnatic in that capacity.
Oh, that was close. That was almost a very nice headshot.
As all the marks go off in the world, but no, aces will shut him down, and it's more lopsided for Fnatic.
All right, so on to Clubhouse.
So many mistakes. Empire's just gonna worry about cutting off the. Here, they're gonna be the ones to do something as crazy.
Major showdown.
Come on, get me to the next map. There we go. All right, so let me rewind it just ever so slightly. Oh, there's already a death. Hold on a second.
Coming in. Joystick going to be allowed to play his Jackal.
All right, I'm going to pause it here, and I'm going to be right back. Just give me a second. I'm back, so let's get back into this.
That's quite interesting. We haven't seen Joystick Jackal that much as of late.
So, Fnatic setting up for Garage CC hold.
It seems now, and I think that makes sense. Based on what we're seeing from Fnatic in previous maps, Fnatic again playing those
Let's just see.
strategies on the defensive side. Usually
Seems like a pretty typical setup.
Jackal is going to
Excuse me.
problem somewhat.
2 Valcams going out over here. One under the roof. Joystick should find this like pretty much immediately.
Very reactive with their bans. They ban against teams, they ban on certain maps. They don't really have their comfort bans. That's Fnatic here. They don't like playing against Echo, we know that much. Not a lot of teams do. He tends to be
Capital gone, Maverick gone to prevent the juggle. And now they're throwing the Thatcher and they see the Bandit. They're gonna shoot impacts in to set it off. That's an easy kill because he can't he can't juggle while he's concussed. Can't really move either.
Such a beautiful opening of the server wall by Team
Yeah, that was textbook. Well done by Empire. They know they have to dislodge the person in Garage. Joystick is watching the flank from main stairs. And they've most likely already droned out bedroom and construction.
Well done to Team Empire again. They even managed to get a kill out of it. Shepard ready on that rappel with the detonate. Ace is playing inside a Garage now, is going to be under immense amounts of pressure from not only any Garage pressure directly that Empire is trying to apply, but also from this server wall. He has to keep the Crossfire alive, because that is the lifeline for Team Fnatic. The only chance that they're likely to win this round. Virtue goes for a very ill-advised push into Workshop and gives another free pick to Team Empire.
That was a mistake, and everybody from Fnatic are going to just peek Empire over and over again. Another down this time on Aces, but Rizraz runs out, so the peeking will not stop. Jackal marks onto Magnet as Rizraz gets felled, and it'll be Magnet. The only one left is Aces needs to be picked up, but Empire looks so strong.
So yeah, Fnatic just not holding the areas they need to, but once the server wall is open and the guy in Garage is under immense amounts of pressure, if they don't have control of Master or Construction, they're just gonna fall. Because once if Bandit's dead and he can't juggle the construction wall after the server wall is gone, then that's pretty much it.
That was a free kill. You just saw it on your screen. Joystick didn't really have to do a whole lot of work for that. It was the same thing.
Nice shot from side there.
Why do we need to be peeking all these?
And then Jackal tracks coming out too.
You don't.
Just makes it that much harder.
The one thing that Fnatic did find out with that round was
so it's the same kind of attack. I just want to see if Fnatic have set up any differently.
That's exactly where Virtue peeked on out and got punished by Joystick for it. So at least they have that information at their disposal for the second time they defend here. And as much as Lusty got caught out in the open, you'd expect him not to make that same mistake again. Joystick is going to be in hot pursuit as he manages to Jackal ping one member of Fnatic. He'll make his entry all by himself. He doesn't really need much backup. He baits out a C4.
See, they're trying to contest they're trying to contest Master this time, which is the right play. But Joystick is still going to apply pressure from there.
Dan is on flank watch duty here. He's trying to cut people off as they rotate.
Nice kill. So now Valkyrie's dead.
Exactly, that's going to happen to him.
And Joystick can push into Master freely.
Not breaking the full window and not giving away his angle hold.
And the Zofia that's almost always played by Karzeka is now in the hands of Dan. It's going to be Karzeka running the double hard breach. On Clubhouse, using 2 hard breachers is almost always required.
They're going to open up the construction wall again.
From time to time, it had been Shockwave. You might as well give it to Karzeka because Dan's hands have been quite hot. He's been the hot hand so far through this matchup.
Is the server wall open? I doubt it because Bandit's still there. So Shepard's going to go for it. And if Bandit goes for the juggle, that's ill-advised. So the wall is going to get opened. And now there's 2 in Garage, I believe. Nope.
As Empire will circle the wagons. Dan finds Lusty, so Fnatic have really nothing here. But Rizraz will down one, finish him off. He's shrouded in his smoke. He gets down by Joystick. Ace is now hiding inside
Just
the garage.
the trades from Empire are just too good.
They have plenty of time.
They're just way too good.
Hard to imagine a way for the Frost out of this predicament. And there you go. There won't be. The only way out is in a body bag, and he'll get buried 6 feet under his opportunity for you to roam off-site. But it's very
So Empire once again, or excuse me, Fnatic once again going for this. Rizraz picking Cav this time. They're still trying to hold up here, but the defense, the site is actually downstairs instead.
When you're defending Church.
It's a heavy roam, that's for sure.
So we saw the same kind of attack executed by Empire 2 times in a row. And they want to do top-down clear because there's so many angles to hold. So once they get someone established on blue stairs, a claymore on the ladder in garage, and somebody on the main stairs, they know that there's no way they can get flanked. And then they're just going to open up the hatches like normal and push. They have 2 hard breachers, so they have the ability to do that. No Cades being brought by Fnatic, so they're going to be able to open up the hatches, minus the kitchen hatch, which will most likely be impact tricked.
And it is possible to bait out the Jackal too. Say if you're working in tandem with one another.
The idea behind this hold from Fnatic is that they're just trying to waste time. If they can prevent Empire from getting into position to push onto the site with less than a minute left, they've done their job. So Joystick's going to pick one up.
That is a bad start so far for Fnatic, because
and now Rizraz and Magnet are stuck, and that hatch, the main lobby, is most likely not open.
Is a failure. Joystick will find yet another kill, and he is having one heck of a game so far. He's found almost everything. Dan will walk him backwards.
Oh, that hatch is open. Okay, so it's weird that they're not rotating that way.
Advantage for Empire, who have been able to take down 2 bodies, and losing only Dan in the process and a bit of HP from Joystick. Lusty's the next one involved in an engagement, and down goes Magnet.
Oof, Joystick's
so
lucky there.
Empire right now are firing on all cylinders, and Fnatic a really poor showing to start off with. Goes Karzeka, but
oh my goodness. A 5-man roam upstairs. Oh my god. It's ridiculous. None of them are on site. They're all off site trying to refrag each other.
You need to really be able to put these away, because every single round that Empire gets not only dooms you when you do inevitably switch sides through the 6th or 7th round, but it's also a motivational thing. You know how mental Fnatic's game
is. This is tough.
This
is tough for Fnatic. They're trying so hard to flank Empire as opposed to taking straight on engagements, and it's just not working.
Sometime over the next round or 2, and we might even be past the point of no return, but if over the next 2 rounds Empire just continue this lopsided affair, the game might be over before we ever hit that 7th round.
It's true. Well, Fnatic's going to have to start doing some pretty magical stuff here on defensive Clubhouse. They are right now going for a no-roamer strategy on a basement defense for Clubhouse. This right here is typical Clubhouse. This is what you expect to see from the defenders. You see Empire already clear out the top floor, middle floor, establish that there are no roamers. They're being a little bit...
All right, so the key the key point here is how quickly can Empire establish their flank watches. As you can see, they know that they have top control. They know that strip is clear. And they just need to establish main stairs control, and they can't get flanked at that point. And then they just open hatches, drone, and push whichever site has less defenders in it.
You have to take up some kind of residency inside of the kitchen too. There's Lusty in a position to possibly impact trick that kitchen hatch, so you have to try to put as much emphasis on flushing out the defenders that are playing below the kitchen hatch, because you're expecting there to be some kind of impact trick. It's very easy for one of those grenades that are in the hands of Smoke or whoever might be holding it to be able to take out the hard destructive capabilities that Hibana has at her disposal. And as you can see from all the soft destruction around the hatch, that's exactly what's going to happen. There's a minute to go. So not the greatest timing for Empire, who haven't really done much to alleviate any of the reinforcements that are in play.
Okay, so in these positions, Hibana wants to open the kitchen hatch. They're going to open the church wall. Dan is going to be holding the cross in the hallway So none of the defenders can move back and forth between sites without exposing themselves to Dan, either dying or Dan will be able to call out. And then I'm assuming that they've already established that there's at least 2 in Armory. So if they know that there's no one in blue, that means that there's 3 in Armory, or 3 in Church, or 2 in Armory and 3 in Church. If I said that right. But either way, you guys know what I'm talking about. So once this wall gets open, Dan will have line of sight all the way into the objective, but they're going to impact trick or try to impact trick one of the thermites. So Karzeka picks off 1, and now they're going to try to open the hatches. The impact grenades are running low. Scyther's holding the angle all the way into Armory from this corner over here that we saw him sitting in. Dan can look all the way into any site, really. And so Fnatic is in a bad spot because Magnet's also been taken out. Karzeka 1 more kill in the same spot. Yeah. Empire's attacks are just too well coordinated.
When playing in sight due to the way that his cloaking ability works. But overall, this is probably the most normal defense that we've seen in terms of operator lineup so far.
No Cav this time.
That's for sure.
Rizraz still picked an operator that has impact grenades, so they're just wanting to impact trick everything on the church wall and anything on the kitchen hatch. So they have 4 impacts and 2 Cades. Excuse me, 6 impacts and 2 Cades. If Aces has impacts as well, then they just literally have like 0 barbed wire, unless Virtue is, you know, not bringing a shield instead of barbed wire as well. These are actually very standard attacks coming out from Empire. This isn't anything out of the ordinary.
What appeared to have been an attempt at impact claw tricking that hatch inside of Moto will be a failure as the EMP.
Yeah, Virtue, or excuse me, Magnet not throwing his claws at the right time.
Sustain a little bit of damage from Lusty or Rizraz below. Hard to tell exactly who that was that did the damage that was onto the Zofia. But those breaching rounds will go off quite successfully. The Vigil is also spotted, and Karzeka might be able to get a very easy kill.
Yeah.
As Rizraz's cloaking device was not off of its cooldown, and because of this, Empire will crack open this round just as they have cracked open the floor around the hatch.
Oh my gosh.
Fnatic are completely
it's just crazy. Using the holes that they're going to use to impact. Oh my gosh.
Rolling over top of you. Empire now just knocking at the Moto door, revving the engines. Joystick finds Aces, and Fnatic are in a world of hurt. Sidearm out, and Scyther cannot find the kill that he so desires onto Virtue. Very low on HP. As behind Magnet, the safety and security of that church wall will...
Yeah, once the church wall gets open, neither of these defenders have anywhere to go.
Exothermic charge goes off. There will be a rush from Magnet. Virtue falls as well. Empire absolutely
my goodness.
so far for Empire. At some point,
yeah, they just they just can't they can't stop any of the attacks from Empire. Their droning and their pushing together is just too good. Like even if Fnatic try to contest the clear, they all get trapped in one place because Empire is pushing so fast from so many different sides. It's just ridiculous. But what I do want to see is how Empire attack Fnatic on this site in particular, because during the Norango game, Fnatic had a great hold inside of server right here with the Cade. So I just want to see how they dislodge the Cade. So they're going to find him with the Jackal Track, which is something that Norango did not do, and they're going to hold the door. That shield is meant so that anybody trying to push through this door has to vault in and get gunned down by the shotgun. So Lusty just needs to hold this, and if Joystick can jump in at just the right time, you know. Oh my gosh, he's 1 health.
What an insane angle, and he goes to deny the Excaros.
He can't though he can't deny the bottom Excaros being open, so he's just gonna have to sit there and wait. So they're dislodging Lusty from this position the exact same way that Noarango did, but in my opinion, probably just a tiny bit better. Unless he's actually been down, but they don't know it. Did he get naded too, and he's still not dead? He's just hanging out.
Or whether somebody will be in a position to possibly get Lusty. There you go. He's gone, but Virtue's there to take out Scyther. And Karzeka taking
yeah, and then someone playing from this angle in construction. This is exactly how Noarango and Fnatic both attacked people trying to hold server. And with a minute left, that wall's open.
If they go perfect for the first half, you could bet it's likely that they might be able to get a 7-0.
Yeah, they did it. He did a good job wasting time here, and the man count is even with less than a minute to push.
And it's still very winnable. Magnet is below. He does still have his C4 in hand. Ace is holding on to offices, allowing Rizraz to be solely focused on holding Jacuzzi wall. Aces has got a lot of work to put up, but Shepard gonna take down one from Jacuzzi. And there's Dan to also take down Aces inside of offices. It's just Magnet in the 1 versus 2. But he's only got to delay for 15 seconds. If there are Valkyrie cams to call this out, he might be able to deny the plant, but no. It's gonna be on a bed, which means the C4 will miss. Which means that he will have to retake into a 1 versus 2 post plant. Magnet gonna do his best. Dan holding onto the staircase. He's just waiting for the push-up. It's inevitable. And Dan waiting on the doorway, still on that angle, but he'll let Magnet slip by. And it's going to go into offices using the pre-made rotation, but now he's going to flank his opponent. And
there isn't anything Magnet could do there. That's rough.
6 rounds in a row.
That is rough.
For some reason.
All right, let's get to EG versus Immortals.
A little bit overshadowed every now and then.
Or excuse me, EG versus Faze. I'm sorry.
From the pool of operators allowed to be selected on the attacking side.
All right, so on Clubhouse, Capitao off, Hibana off, Mira and Echo. So this makes sense.
And yet we just saw an example of what can go absolutely horribly, horrendously wrong on Clubhouse in our Fnatic Empire game, in which Empire won 7-0, including 6 wins on the attacking side. So we'll start downstairs with Faze on the defense, and we'll start in the basement. Church Arsenal.
Yeah, but as we saw yesterday, I mean, Faze's attack has even gotten better, but I do think it does all matter on what can they do on the defensive side. Again, you at least have to get one, and if you're going to do it on any map, it's going to be Clubhouse. I mean, has one of the highest percentages for defensive wins out of the entire map pool currently. Granted, those have changed a little bit in recent history.
All right, so
still pretty high here for Clubhouse.
EG got decimated by Empire on Clubhouse.
They do have both hard bridges, as I mentioned. You have
just like Fnatic did. And this actually gives me a chance to see how this differs, how EG's attacks differ against a different team from Empire's. So the first thing that happens is a Claymore goes down on this ladder to prevent a flank from there. Necrox drones out servers so that they can push in. Canadian is looking for anything that he can take out via the IQ scanner in terms of Legion mines or any other utility that's placed inside of Kitchen. Once again, Blue Stairs flank is established by NVK along with the drone for when he leaves the position, and all hatches are going to be opened up by Geo. He can open up 2 hatches, and then Young has 2 thermites. He can either open dirt and church or one of the hatches in church, because it's opening up church wall is just way too strong. So Geo is going to try to open this and Canadian's trying to contest him, to contest anybody who might be trying to either C4 him from below or anything like that. So, based on the way he's opening it, it doesn't seem like he's actually trying to open it. He's just trying to open up lines of sight to look down it. Okay, so he's just going to get one open for sure. Droning out, making sure that nobody's west side of armory and setting up a drone for anybody who dies to watch when they go for the retake. So they know where Jaeger is, but do they know that there's one in dirt? That's the real question. And there's obviously a Vault cam somewhere. He gets a double kill on the staircase, and now Canadian has to worry about someone pushing up the staircase. Necrox wants to push blue, but he's going to get peeked from multiple angles and just get overpowered. Yeah. So Faze win that off of the Vault cam C4 as EG is stalling out on the attack. Actually, Consulate I only saw once. I saw mostly Bank. It was Bank, Oregon, Clubhouse, and Border were the maps that I saw most played. Consulate I only saw played once.
But yeah, very close shot there. Almost got his head ripped off, but Canadian's going to walk away from it. Non-fatal, at least, for the moment.
So, Bandit juggling on this site when a Maverick is on the board is completely useless. So as you can see, he's going to open up this to watch towards the hallway and to shoot the Bandit batteries. Yeah. So now Thermite repels upside down, opens the wall, and now they either place their attention onto taking control of Garage or taking control of Master. It's one or the other. They can't do they can do both, but it's much more difficult.
He's the lone man on the side right now. Over by the bedroom is cameraman, the roaming Jaeger. So a lot of power now opened up for Evil Geniuses. You've got the wall opened into CCTV. You've got the B-bomb visible from both sides with the window open, and NVK will look to hold off any runouts and hold any pressure for any rotations through that rafters balcony window. We've got two stacked at the top of the main stairs right now, and Mav and Ion.
Mav on Faze wants to go downstairs to hold the C4.
A lot of entry denial. You got a nitro cell you can launch into the breach should anyone try and peek out and rush in, and you've got the Toxic Babes to repel any entry at all from the attacking side.
Very nice repel here by Canadian that a lot of people have been picking up recently. Allows you to clear out that catwalk without having.
Yeah, this repel isn't going to be able to be utilized anymore once once the test server finishes and the patch comes out. Like they're not repelling upside down like this isn't going to even be viable. Canadian's really weak though after those impacts, so that was smart. No. No, it is not. Iconic. It's just me, myself, and I.
Takes down cameraman on the far side, choking on the gas. Necrox turns the corner, but gets blown to smithereens by the nitro cell. Still have a lot of pressure here, but not a lot of time for Evil Geniuses. 30 seconds counting down against them as they need to condense into the objective and start going for a plant. Repelling off will be Ion and...
Alright, so right here in a 4v2, and you know you just got C4'd from the main stairs, so there's no C4 necessary from below. EG just has to position themselves. I'll use this side of it. EG has to position themselves one outside of this window, one outside over here, one in the garage, and then one going for the plant. It's all going to depend on whether or not Ion has enough smokes to actually deny the location of the plant. They're utilizing the rest of the time they have, even though, yes, time is ticking down. They're using it. See, look, as you can see, Canadian's rotating to the window. Young's trying to go for the jump in, but can't. Geo's going to immediately challenge for the trade and push in. And one's coming up main stairs because they only need to hold 3 different angles. But, oh my goodness, that was close. They needed to just repick up the bomb and go for the plant. That was super close. Alright. So it was good for them to use the rest of the time they had in a 4v2 to get themselves into the proper positions as opposed to going in one at a time and not being able to trade. But like I said, it's too difficult to bandit juggle on this map if you're not going to take Mav off. So what I'm interested to see is if they can actually keep this closed with the Cade, because it is possible, but they opt not to do it. And I'm questioning what the positioning of Cade actually is in this scenario. So they notice that the barricade is one melee away from being opened. And if they see that nobody's in bathroom, that's castled too? Like, what? Why would they castle that off if no one's going to be playing in there? So now they know that they can literally just push in. They can open this and push in and go for the plant.
Every single wall. Now, he is in a pretty safe spot right now. They have the door castled off. He has two possible rotations. He can try and rotate in through weights. Try and get
if one plays outside the hot tub wall, one watches the window to server, another one is actually trying to go for the plant, and someone's outside a gym window, then they should be fine. Because the one outside the jacuzzi wall stops the guy from rotating up main stairs. They want to get rid of that Maestro camera.
Geo will take down Astro on a rotation all the way over by construction wall in the exterior, but down inside the smoke will be Necrox. The glass ineffectual with that perfect utility to be able to see through with the fluorescent scope. The plant will go down though, so it's a complete flurry and a technical 4v4 right now with Necrox on the floor bleeding out and no one in range to revive. Turning the corner is Ion to blast away Canadian, and another one. Oh, a beautiful shot there by Youngin, going in for 2. Left on 5 HP in the depths of the objective, and Mav will take down Necrox.
So where was Cade this whole time? Like, this is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if they're trying to hold server, they stack so many bodies over there that they forfeit complete gym control. Once the hot tub wall gets opened, like, they should be rotating, trying to get back. But obviously, Geo is at the construction wall, watching that line of sight that goes from construction either into back into the bedroom or either into the office. So you can kind of watch both from the same angle, depending on how he's playing on it. And it's also questionable if Faze even sees it. So we just saw that angle that Geo was using.
That evil geniuses was inside of sight. They might have heard the wall get blown open. We can give them that benefit of the doubt. And
yeah, so we have the positionings that I was talking about with, you know, NVK watching server window and stuff coming to light. And once he gets these kills and the man count's going in his favor, they know that they don't have to watch as many angles. They just have to reduce the amount of angles and get closer to each other for refrag.
Providing some troubles for Faze. This time around, it appears to be the top floor that is causing some difficulties for Faze Clan, though. Last remaining Latin American representative here in Milan for the Season 9 finals. We're going to go back downstairs now. The most comfortable site, evidently, for Faze Clan.
Oh, God.
Wrap things up with a nice little bow and level things
I'm
up
tired.
2-2 as we head into the
I'm just tired in general these days. I'm an old man.
Here, though, for Evil Geniuses on the attack.
I'm an old man.
Like you said, they're not stalling out. They're not really playing too much of a patient game as they were yesterday against Immortals. And even as NVK said in the intro, Faze do kind of fall into that Evil Geniuses play style. They do play off each other very well. The two teams interact quite well, and honestly, it seems like it's EG just getting the better of Faze right now on the top floor. The basement right now, that was where
so there's one Valk cam that's obviously in sight. I'm really curious to where exactly it is and if it was the Valk cam that was used to get the double C4 in the first time that EG was attacking this.
Possibly in the morning, might have scrimmed Fnatic or whoever you thought wasn't going to make it to finals, but even then that is a gamble. So more than likely, a couple of T-Hunts.
How does Nook counter Alibi?
Still got to get the comms warmed up along with everything else. So,
like you're saying, like if Nook walks through an Alibi, it doesn't activate.
This is round number 4 here.
Because that would be interesting.
If you guys are just joining us overall for this stream earlier today, Empire ended up beating Fnatic on map number 3 in deciding fashion, I can say so. 7-0 on the map.
Look how crazy Geo's playing. He looks like a crackhead. He's just flying all over the place.
In the
looking all sorts of different directions, quick peeking all the stuff. My God.
An identical attacking strategy right now for Evil Geniuses. They're all descending from every which way and each clearing their own individual point.
He's on one right there.
Look, PK is doing battle with Ion again. Ion's getting a little adventurous right now, peering down the tunnel to Oil Pit, but it'll be Young to use both exothermic charges this time around to pop open the Moto hatch and the blue hatch. So an alteration again to the strategy here, as Young still had one in the back pocket and was aiming in to go and open up the church wall last time, but was Nitro Celled away. We'll wait and see if Mav's Nitro Cell will have as much impact once again.
That's interesting. Right Nook is going to be so strong.
On another player's screen on the camera, and there he goes.
Nice.
Blasted away as there goes the
no IQ to find the Valk cam. Gets an easy kill. But it's traded out, and that's smoke off the board. So smoke for Maverick. Like, let's talk about that. So in this scenario, EG has no more hard destruction, but they've opened up the two hatches that have to get opened up when you're attacking this site. And yeah, they trade the C4 for Maverick, and then Canadian kills Smoke. Smoke was probably the most valuable operator at this point. So Maverick getting taken out by the C4 isn't that big of a deal because typically the kitchen hatch stays closed anyway because of the impact tricking that happens underneath it now, which is just common stuff. You see it all the time in ranked and in all levels of competitive play. So smoke off the board, probably hasn't used any of the smoke canisters. That puts EG in a good position. So with those two hatches open, all they have to do is establish control of blue, establish control of the main stairs, and then drone, see which of the two sites is less prepared for a push, or which operators are there. So if you see, Valkyrie and Jaeger inside a church, you're most likely going to push there because Legion most likely has Legion mines inside of Armory if that's where he's playing. You can argue that like maybe there's like Legion mines that were placed in church earlier, but you have Thatcher. So if you just rotate Thatcher to whichever site you want to push and Thatcher the doorways, you effectively clear the Legion mines, and then as long as the Maestro cams aren't immediately a nuisance, you can push whatever site you want.
It's in the final minute.
And with a minute left, EG have a ton of time to figure this out.
Trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do with the rest of these skeleton key rounds. Has stun grenades on instead of frag grenades. That's something to point out. It's only
that might have been a mistake to have stuns instead of frags. So looks like they want to go for Armory because Canadian's going to open this up.
Canadian's going to go in the back slot. Nobody even knows what's happening. Is Canadian going to get this free
Oh, man.
He finds one. He finds two. Oh, my goodness. Almost gets three. Going to back off inside a mud tunnel before getting his head ripped off. Going to go over and grab the diffuser. Has to start trying to put it down. They've got the man locked down. He's going to get aggressive. Is he going to win it? Doesn't even need the right click. All on hip fire there.
So yeah, that was just them droning out, seeing where the attackers were positioned, knowing that the west side of Armory is clear because of the buck, and then just pushing in. Young got taken out trying to go for the plant, but he was doing his job. So, that's a given. If all four people push Armory, which is what happened, and one person dies, but you kill everyone else inside of Armory, then, that's the way the push is supposed to go.
I'm getting chills right now, man. I'm getting chills right now. Evil Geniuses is doing, whether it be hold an entire site just horizontally, put everyone in every room, trying to lay as much time as possible, or get extremely aggressive. They were trying to read into exactly what the EG boys wanted to do. Right now, FaZe is trying to do the same thing, but again, it comes back to this. EG used to be a very rigid team. It used to be all about the strat, all about we have to be here at this time, this place, so on and so forth. Right now, a little bit more fluidity added to the mix, and it seems to be working out for them, as FaZe really does not know how to act.
I think that really has to deal with the revolving carousel of IGLs that have been through the Evil Geniuses roster. There's been a bunch of different iterations of this team with different IGLs, and Right now, it's Canadian IGLing for the team, and I think that really does play into how adaptable they are and how quick on the fly they are to make a change. That rush into Arsenal there as well definitely wasn't the game plan. They've been angling towards Church on both of their attacks, and yet at the dying moments, when they needed a push to really set themselves apart from Faze and really take control of the ending portion of that round, it was Canadian to make a call, and Canadian to make an entry and a splash in the kill board as well. He seems to be picking up much better than he did yesterday anyway.
Some of the best plays inside of Siege history are done on instinct and not on a call, and that's exactly what is going to come of that one. So he did just rush through Ash Rush, as we traditionally call it, because usually run down main, blow open the back of that, or get yourself back into Armory.
So, entry once again from Evil Geniuses, pretty typical, and again, condensing from every possible angle across the map. Everyone clearing individually, but then they regroup around the midway point of the round. It'll be up to Canadian again to set the tone, as he was the one doing a lot of the reconstruction inside of Kitchen. We'll see if Necrox will bring frag grenades to join Canadian and have 4 of the availability of Evil Geniuses, but not a lot of contention towards the bottom of main.
All right, so both hatches are going to get opened up again.
Cheeky with either a Nitro Cell up into Kitchen, Nitro Cell over the Church wall. Like a thermite charge is
I'm curious to see if Young will actually save one of his thermites for the Church wall. Which is exactly what's going to happen. If Geo's opening this hatch, then he's definitely going to go for the Church wall. And Geo can even use some of his blowtorch on the wall initially to try to get a quick pick while the defenders aren't looking.
Last time the offense was set up like this, we saw Geo try to go inside of Kitchen and get the hatch open, and made a little bit of an explosive.
So okay, right here, Canadian knows there's an ADS in blue, so he's asking for a Thatcher so that he can nade and push at the same time. Now, as time's running low, the EG is going to have to push off of that play.
But this time around, things going a lot slower. We're under a minute now as angles are still being established from upstairs, frag grenades being thrown down. This time not going to find anything, whereas last time it was an immediate trade as Ion went down to the frag inside of blue.
So a lot of reconstruction done, but they don't have this opening pick. Young now has made it in, and he's got an exothermic charge.
All right, so Church being opened up. Canadian ends up getting the kill onto Ion, who was playing in there. But Astro's retaking.
Trapped inside of blue, and the diffuser is down. EG with no control, they need to push in. All separated on different portions of the map now as Necrox will prime a frag grenade in towards the Church table, but it'll bounce off the vending machine, and Geo will have to go for a rush. Cameraman tacks on now as it's just Necrox and Geo alive. Geo with 1, rushing into Church. He's got 2 on his backside. Necrox turning, nowhere to look. Geo with 2 now, going for 3. It's down to a 1v1, yeah. But he cannot recollect the diffuser.
They just couldn't. They just couldn't clear out blue.
Survive the onslaught.
Astro.
That's where that fell apart. If blue had been cleared out and the Church wall had gotten opened, but it actually ended up getting impacted, so that's why the push failed.
Completely different setup being allocated here for Faze Clan, as they don't even have a castle barricade near the bathroom this time around.
I was so confused by the way that Faze set up. Like, why would you castle off gym and castle off bathroom and have no one playing in there? Like it just didn't make sense. There was obviously some kind of disconnect.
That EG is going to be taking things a little bit differently. So they're not going to be starting all the way over on the east side.
Oh, Canadian brings Montaigne this time.
He opens up the construction window and a lot of spray coming in from this master balcony. So, talked about last time how there aren't a lot of safe places to hide. There are a select few that many anchors will occupy. And then and construction hold. It
was definitely just a bad call for the allocation of the grenades, Keeb. Necrox had enough time to maybe get a kill behind it, but they're probably just nervous as to, you know, where the defenders actually were. They're running out of time. There's so many different calls coming in from so many different places as to what's going on. You know, it's just hard. They're just in a bad spot there.
Have Necrox outside on balcony as well. So Astro's in between a rock and a hard place here. Not very many safe havens for him to lie in wait in.
So now,
but again,
Montaigne just needs to push like down the hallway and prevent the main stairs from being pushed. If Necrox can jump inside, or somebody can jump inside of Jim and hold down the construction doorway, they can plant. But they have to dislodge this Mute, and they did drone him out, so they know where Mute is. Canadian's going to push in. Necrox is going to get on the windows. The impact from Zofia pinpoints where someone is playing. They don't know that it's Mute. NVK is still watching server window, picks up that kill, and now Canadian's going to go for the plant while Young is trying to cover, but they never moved Astro out of this position. Necrox picks himself back up, and now Canadian still has the diffuser, and it looks like he's pushing. Oh, wow.
Going to rotate back through. It's all left up to Mav, and Gio's going to put a sock in it.
I want to know where Gio came from there, because Gio's position before when they attacked Master was inside or outside of construction, and then he pushed up main stairs after that, after he got the pick there. So he might have gone up to the office hatch after, you know, playing that angle for a little bit.
It'll be Evil Geniuses now in the favorable position, heading to the defense, at least by standards of this map. They'll be heading to the defense. They'll be heading downstairs to Church and Arsenal, and they got a 4-2 lead. They look like they're in command and control. And again, interesting Montaigne play coming out from Evil Geniuses that hasn't done...
Oh, NVK just in the perfect spot every time. Yeah, Gio came back up main stairs.
And it's a good entry in keeping the diffuser.
All right, so once again attacking downstairs, but this time Faze, bringing Maverick for the same purpose.
Sometimes those rough edges connect. You really just have to walk around and make sure you're making a perfect square. But they'll finally get one of the hatches popped open. The impact trick spot is open for Kitchen, but Ion is going to find
that's
Canadian
rough.
inside of Moto. And that's going to be the opening Faze needs here.
Canadian trying to do something sneaky. Wonder if he had a C4 or barbed wire.
So the Thatcher for Faze, and honestly star performer from yesterday against Lestream. You can see them all dropping in.
And it looked like the stock hatch wasn't reinforced, so
about the Faze attack. You've got a Maverick now blowing onto the church wall, trying to afford himself just a few peeking options into the back of the church behind the bar. 2 drop into Moto, and now Yuna contesting a Toxic Babe is going to lose almost.
All right, wall's getting opened up. Maverick's holding the angle in the perfect spot. Wall gets opened up. He's going to peek and die immediately. Oh, and no, he doesn't. That's just bad. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wow. Oh, my goodness. They're actually salvaging this when they shouldn't.
Cameraman on the trade, though. 2 fall for Evil Geniuses, and it's up to Gio's fresh off the ground, and NVK, who's busy facilitating the revive. NVK, though, takes another one to the grave. Astro will fall. A frag grenade being launched down as cameraman setting up the plant. In behind the bar, Mav collecting on a Gio. It's all NVK to wrap this all up for Evil Geniuses. We're going to draw closer, and Mav will shut him down.
Yeah.
Faze on a beautiful response round there on the attacking side.
At the end of the day, once they have full control of Church, the most important operator in that position is the guy holding main door. Holding main hall. So they won that there, but they choked a few shots because Necrox should never have gotten that kill.
Towards the rafters window to go on rappel and make sure that no one can bandit trick immediately beside him. The flashbangs come raining in as well as Canadian is prepping a castle barricade on the rafters window. So a lot of angles being countered here, but you can see everything being tossed in.
Oh, and a rush in because they know that the walls. Oh my gosh. They just rush in because they close that angle from garage.
But another 2-3 for Faze, and it's all blowing up in fireworks in the face. Unit with 2 on the return, and NVK will be slapped back down the staircase.
Holy rush.
Now trying to retake against the castle barricade. The plant goes down, the energy high for Faze, and it's a 1v3 as Gio frantically searching for pings. He'll launch a nitro cell directly at the diffuser, but it won't land on any of the Faze members. Launching a Valkyrie camera up the stairwell, but it'll have to pause as that concussion mine comes in, and Yuna.
Holy rush.
Beautiful play.
That was crazy.
they storm the gulag and take another one from the jaws of evil geniuses.
They rushed straight in because they knew that the angle from garage was closed off by a castle. That's a little bit of a miscalculation on EG's part. Really well played by Faze. And Geo was so far off site thinking that they weren't going to push so hard right away.
What's this even categorized as for Pro League finals? What do they categorize it as for actual tournament? You don't know either? Okay, cool.
What? I'm just lost the question.
You want me to re-ask you the question?
We're going to move on. So it's a 4-4 draw, and we're heading back downstairs for Evil Geniuses into the basement, as in this instance, they've lost 2 defenses in a row. One that came down to the
All right, so
close. We're heading back down to the basement where I guess Evil Geniuses feel they had a little more success, and that's fair.
Faze taking pretty much the same way they did before. Buck is already in, like, at the bottom of main stairs, which is absurd to me. Unless he's just still outside, like, in kitchen. Probably actually in kitchen, yeah, he's kitchen hallway.
I imagine Faze want to keep this tempo. The tack timeout might have cooled things off slightly. I don't think it's enough of a really cool down to quell the storm that appears to be Faze that is brewing right now. Popping open the moto hatch momentarily will be Cameraman with the rest of this Maverick torch, and
Thermite opening up stock hatch.
Another ACOG with Young taking up the Rook. This time around, he did have it last time, but they need these long angles to prepare for the rush, and especially having an ACOG if they want to blow open some Mav holes into that church wall again, you're going to be able to contest that a lot easier with an ACOG.
So yeah, keep that. Okay. So
the exact same attack all over again.
There's a couple different things happening here. So the castle that we saw on Moto Drop over here, not the one that's facing the hallway, but the one that's facing into church, EG wants that closed because they want to impact trick this wall and not have to worry about pressure coming in through here, through that doorway from Moto. But Faze will also want to keep that closed, possibly so that they don't get flanked and they can kind of like keep themselves safe inside of Moto. So at this point in the round, it seems like what it's going to come down to is whether or not the impact trick from Castle and maybe Smoke, because Young is using his impacts on the kitchen hatch, are going to be more effective than a Maverick opening up the wall and Zofia and Buck throwing nades over. If there's an ADS properly placed and Ion doesn't use the right Thatcher positioning, then EG wins. But if they just Thatcher the ADS, throw nades over, and open the wall, then use a Zofia charge to open that door at the right time, Faze win.
For Faze, but as previously stated, we got a Rook on the defense now, so those long angles going to be helping out EG especially.
So let's just see how this plays out. And it doesn't look like anybody's even impact tricking it.
Happened to be the man with the diffuser. Just eventually Faze picking up that mantle and getting the diffuser down in the dying seconds before Mav found his last kill.
Like that smoke doesn't really do anything. As you can see, it only did like 5 damage to Mav, and now the wall's gonna get opened. That was a better smoke, but they're using it for to waste time on opening the wall, but they didn't waste enough time on the rest of the map.
On this church wall, is it going to be blown open now with the exothermic charge? Nothing to stop it here.
Yeah, this is not looking good for EG.
But still, nonetheless, it appears to be destroyed somehow.
So Evil Geniuses has actually planned for this. They've put a shield inside. Geo's actually going to end up getting a kill off of said shield, but they've set a shield up past Minibar and past Black Box. It's right next to it. Eventually, though, Necrox will go down after the castle gets blown open, but that allowed him to throw in.
This is close. This is going to be a close round.
Without having to be so close and in danger. Eventually, though, MVK will find Ion. That's going to be massive as Canadian and Necrox have both been down. Young, though, with the refrag, as Astro will claim the life of Canadian.
Oh, the ADS.
Remaining Faze members diving into blue and they'll claim the life of NVK, but immediately traded by Young now. Last man alive is Mav, holding up and pushing in through the blue box doorway. And he's held off by multiple angles here. No diffuser in control, and that'll be the round again for Evil Geniuses on a bounce.
Well played by EG there.
Stop the bleeding. It will take the lead once again. Testament to how flexible Evil Geniuses are as an entire roster, but it seems like they're having issues with finding something that really sticks right now as a cohesive lineup.
They eventually found that footing yesterday against Immortals, but it is taking a little bit longer here on their defensive set for their game against Faze Clan. Initially, losing out 2 rounds so far. First on Church, second on Catch for them. They're back upstairs in Catch right now. They won Church that last round, as you guys saw, but we'll see if they can win this round. Doesn't look like it's going to be an exact rush again. I mean, they are going for.
They've got to know there's no bandy here. So what's the hesitation?
And actually, not even going to do that. No one's going to try and contest it. They're going to get the wall open for free and walk away.
Nothing really to stall out the wall there, so
FaZe are now going to rotate over towards Master and try to open up that construction wall. While one plays outside the server wall just to cut off rotation.
I guess it's bulletproof. It keeps you from being shot if you want to stand up, as well as the reinforcement right beside Canadian as he lanes prone. But the attack right now for FaZe shifting directions. The tides seem to be taking them towards construction as opposed to clearing out garage. So with that pressure from the wall, you're probably going to leave one man.
That's a good drone.
Outside on that balcony.
And they still have that castled off. They still have the garage, the top of garage castled off.
Through Master into construction.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, as you said, FaZe needs to get a little bit more of their footing here. Evil Geniuses works great in these kind of environments where they're able to establish where the take is going to be coming from, and that skeleton key is definitely not quiet. So they know it's going to be coming from construction. Cameraman's already rotated with the Mav torch. They're going to be able to put a little bit of work in this single panel. As Canadian miscounted a little bit, took 2 hits instead of 1, but still going to be able to open the catwalk window as they are just lying in wait for anything to come through construction. Canadian's going to hold down the breach. As we do see one body outside, is going to be the Zofia of Astro. He's all left over here by his lonesome. MVK is going to be the first one to peek. Astro will take his head off for him. As Canadian still lying.
Astro, at this point, just needs to back off and get on the rappel.
As Necrox is going to be popping his first.
He's got the sight cut off. He just needs to keep Canadian trapped. And Geo just got a kill on flank, I think.
Geo able to claim one of the lives back and able to trade it out as there's 30 seconds ticking away against FaZe on this attacking round. This will send us to match point, and Evil Geniuses are victorious. Necrox are dealing with a lot of pressure from down below inside of stock when Mav has the buck rotated down, but he's come back up in support of the attack. Geo with another one. Necrox with 2.
Oh my god.
Lining him up with a shotgun. It's Yuna left alive. Geo will fall.
Necrox is just too good.
15 seconds, and he vaults into the CCTV window, and the Alda not enough on the pre-fire to stop Yuna in his tracks. Makes it in behind the B bomb inside of CCTV behind these racks, and we'll have to sick the plant into the overtime. Necrox and Young will both come tearing forward. Young will claim the kill, and that'll be Evil Geniuses setting themselves apart.
FaZe had everything that they needed open.
This will be a tough one as we saw the difficulty.
Literally everything. They had literally everything that they needed open. They just couldn't pin Necrox down. I think the downfall there was Buck going below and trying to kill Necrox. Instead of like, because they had a drone on him. Now, if it got shot, I don't know. But because the drone, if the drone is on Necrox and he's standing still, like, yeah, it's not a bad idea to try to maybe get him from below and push in. But if the drone spots him too early and they don't kill him from below, now he's just constantly moving around. And if nobody's holding a tight angle to pin him down in a specific location, he's just going to keep moving around, and Buck down there while the smoke is moving around isn't going to get anything accomplished. And then Geo picks up the kill on him while he's distracted, and they just lose their body.
If you're not able to do that, you're going to have a bad time. Seeing the feet of Legion is Astro as Young is going to rotate back as he hears Yuna, as well as the Thatcher in the hands of Ion getting open Jacuzzi wall immediately. And last time we
also, like, the 2 concussions coming in right there, like, it's just showing me that FaZe aren't droning. They're not actually droning to see if there's a bandit. They're just assuming that there is one. But those concussions could have been used for something else.
On the far side now on the east by CCTV as some map holes being opened up by cameraman. I'll hop the drone and
like, I'm really interested to see if that comes into play later.
Necrox downstairs at the blue door. laying in wait to strike now. Necrox is actually inside of Cash. That's Geo downstairs, waiting to hit the flank up through the bottom of Garage. Cameraman's lost half of his life in an engagement as well with NVK. And he's going to come out worse for the player in that one. So now the Thermite charge coming out onto the exterior wall. They still have the interior wall to deal with. And they don't have any more Thermite charges. They're going to have to use Cameraman for any hard breach. Most likely, Evil Geniuses are going to peel back and surrender this portion of the map.
If you want to do it, it takes one tank of gas to make a perfect circle that you can possibly crouch through. But Mav going to open up things for Faze as they're going to find Geo. That's going to be the pulse that was roaming downstairs. So Faze needs to pick up the pace just a little bit, but as previously stated, no more ectothermic charges. So
okay. So here's something. All right, so with the minute left, they don't have anything to open up walls anymore. They can't get into the office unless they want to get to the hatch. They have to push through this doorway. They have one person outside on the balcony, and they have hot tub wall open. They need to rotate someone to the hot tub wall. One person watches server for a flank. One person pushes through here, and then one stays on the balcony, and the last one goes for the plant in whichever site they want to plant in. So we'll see if they can position themselves appropriately. Because someone outside of a jacuzzi stops NVK from going anywhere on main stairs. Now, if Astro dies and there's no one out on the balcony when they go for their actual execute onto the site, EG wins the round. So if Astro dies, round's over.
The initial one's going to be a rappel upside down on the window from Astro. Necrox going to be locked in behind this mattress. He's trying to figure out which gunfight he can possibly take. Reloading would have been the perfect time to challenge, but Ion's still going to find the kill.
All right, Ion pushes into the office.
Down. Only 20 seconds left. Faze has not found too much on site except for one kill.
They just don't have anyone outside Jacuzzi Wall. If they lose this round, it's because no one's outside Jacuzzi Wall.
On main stairs, Canadian still locking things down with us all inside a bathroom. Young will eventually fall. Canadian's going to try and challenge.
Okay.
And it's going to be all Faze.
Well done, Faze. Well done. They made it work. They made it happen.
They go in this roam and Faze rushes directly to site. Because a retake on this site is extremely difficult, especially if hatches are still sealed. There's only 2 staircases, only 2 possible paths of entry. It gets very difficult for that defense. But this seems to be more or less a bait and switch as we've rotated everyone downstairs after setting up the upstairs. You can see Cameraman working his way up, but you see no red silhouettes up on that top floor as Evil Geniuses has kind of pulled a sneaky on him.
Looks like there was still one member over by Garage, by the rafters, but you're right. Outside of that, not a lot of top floor control being held, but the distraction is enough to peel the attention away for Faze to the top floor. They see all the barbed wire placed around the midst of the main stairs as well. Yuna, though, that will not strike fear into the heart of Yuna as he walks straight to the kitchen floor, and they have the dirt tunnel open. This is an alteration to the strategy that we haven't seen yet for Faze. Drones will come descending through, and they'll most likely have to contend with Necrox.
So with dirt being open, their primary focus is to be opening up blue and taking control of it and the kitchen hatch. But based on the way they're pushing it, they're just going to try to force their way through dirt. And I think that this is the wrong call. They are opening up blue, but trying to force their way through dirt is definitely not the way to go. But if Necrox dies without getting a pick or wasting enough time, and he just needs to keep throwing smokes, like, oh man, that's just bad timing.
Canadian doing battle inside of blue. At the bottom, he doesn't see the man directly under his sight.
Oh.
Line of sight. 2 though for EG3 now in a trade, and it's suddenly Evil Genius in the driver's seat. Cameraman, last man alive at the bottom of main stairs, trying to send it in through and make it into the moto.
So yeah, Geo is actually able to flank and take control of blue hatch, so that should be GG if no one else is in the tunnel, which is exactly what's happening here.
Flashbangs come out into the midst of the hallway. But everyone from Evil Geniuses playing patient. And behind their boxes, Cameraman not making a move either. Not enough info for him to be able to push through safely. It's a Legion mine now and doesn't have the time to take it out. Waiting for the peek. The pre-fire will give away his position. Holding close is Canadian, but NVK will be the one to shut it down. Yep. Evil Geniuses.
All right, let's get to the next map.
Number 2, Border.
Thatcher Capitao already banned out.
All right, so Border.
Thatcher banned out, and Faze is the one who did it. So,
Banning Valkyrie. I think this is probably the only border match that we see this tournament where Valkyrie isn't banned. But banning Capitao is good. It gives them the ability to play behind half wall a little bit better upstairs. Thatcher being gone makes it so they can mute and bandit freely. And then Mira gone is just it's just the way a lot of maps go. Most of the bans are, you know, Mira bans towards at the end of the day because Mira is so powerful in different scenarios.
So well. They shoot lasers, they're bulletproof, but they recently got a nerf. Thatcher and Twitch deal well with those evil eyes now, where when they are disabled for that 10-second period, their window opens up just a tiny bit.
Oh, excuse me. I guess I'm getting tired.
Destroyed. Now, big thing for me here is the fact that we didn't see Buck get banned, which has been more or less a tradition nowadays with Border, because
all right, so with Canadian taking Montaigne, I believe that we're going to see a very condensed push, meaning that a lot of the attackers are going to be in the same area, leaving room for the defenders to maneuver around. But without Valk, it's more difficult for them to do that, which is the idea behind the Valk ban. Is that they're less likely to have to worry about flanks. Sounds good, Mr. Keeb.
The entryway from office out of the purview of NVK holding from the south balcony, sorry. Looking into offices, and Mav almost losing his head for it, but a more powerful position to be established from inside of office sandwich. Geo just going for a lap around the map.
Yeah, Geo's rotating all the way around the map, trying to figure out what the purpose of the call is. It's to throw an nade through this window. That's what it is. The purpose of the call is to throw a nade through this window. And Canadian's just holding this angle so that Geo can push up safely.
Waiting for a Yokai Sonic Blast to come out and drop the shield on Canadian. That'll most likely be timed with a Faze defender pouncing and trying to strike at the feet of Canadian.
It's going to be a very, very close call here. This is all timing for NVK. They're finally staring down Legion, and this is somebody that you don't want to have to deal with as Montaigne. NVK will finally take him away, but Astro and Mav will tack on for Faze as they come out in the trade game on top.
Pushing in now to the break room door. Pressure from both sides now as Mav establishing that angle from inside of the office center. And a narrow escape there for Astro. He goes ripping away, and this will be up to Geo, Young, and NVK to turn in towards the office balcony now. Trip wall fully reinforced, but they do have Young with 2 exothermic charges to blow open trip wall for all their needs. They can push in and blow open the archives wall should they so desire, as that the armory wall was left entirely soft for the availability to peek from within.
All right, so this was a very heads-up play coming out from EG. So they rotate away to make it look like they're giving up their CCTV push, but then NVK takes it, and now they have the angle. But Astro is actually going to kill NVK, so it doesn't work out for him. But it is pretty smart at the end of the day for them to do that.
So far has just not been going Evil Genius's way. As we previously stated, this is one of Faze's favorite maps, but it seems that they're going to pick up that 2-piece by Astro. And who else would you...
That was a rough one.
NVK as well, yesterday, committed huge for a lot of their games. Actually had the most kills out of all of his teammates. And second to that was actually Young, which is their support player, who was doing very
foregoing the Montaigne, they're just going to move on from that. Establishing themselves on AC, now they have control of CC, and they're just going to focus on taking control of upstairs. Even though the site's downstairs, they have to establish upstairs control with some flanks being held. Yeah, that's a horrible waste of utility there, but probably the hatches up here are already open, so it's not that big a deal. But if he still has a Cade in hand and he can go downstairs and bandit trick the single panel wall facing tellers, then or Cade trick, excuse me, then it would be different. They're actually going to give up. They're actually going to give up pushing this. They're actually going to give up upstairs control. Like, they're just going to say, screw it, we don't need it. This could be disastrous or very, very smart.
To the bottom and Skeleton to key this open. Currently we have Young, Geo and NVK all over on the west side of the map, holding things down, whereas Faze only has Yuna upstairs, still alive.
Cameraman laying in wait inside of Customs, waiting for Necrox to turn the corner, but that stun canister will trigger the location, knowing that he is laying inside of Customs, but turning the corner while still disoriented. It's an onslaught for Evil Geniuses, and the last man alive was Cameraman laying inside of Customs. He'll turn the corner, remove the head of Canadian, but the plant going down, and Necrox will end it. Okay. Beautiful response in the latter portion.
Not quite sure where the kills came from there, but it ended up working out for EG. As most of their push was actually horizontal, but that's because they couldn't get the armory wall open. If the armory wall had been open, they would have been in armory and establishing upper floor control a lot easier.
Failing to get an electric claw down, the armory wall will get opened up as Geo has battled with Mav inside a passport check doorway. Shots go errantly through the wall and through that desk, but won't connect, and NVK as well in a trade battle with Cameraman. Neither able to land a finishing blow or even connect on any body parts. Now they'll have to back off and re-engage in a moment's notice. Frag grenade being cooked now by Canadian onto the backside, and they'll drop unit of a 5 HP. Another frag grenade being sent in. He won't survive that one either. Canadian with an explosive entry, and Necrox tacking on. Geo with a third. It's all EG, but Astro with one response back.
Cameraman abandoning the ship upstairs, tries to rotate down, but eventually gets found out by Geo. As Evil Geniuses is walking away with this round, it's all left up to Astro and Ion. So they're going to have to try and hold down this site. Another one of those goo mines going to be tossed upstairs, but it's going to give away a little bit of his position, as well as NVK has that wrist gadget to be able to look down, find those goo mines, and get them off the floor. Things are slowing down in pace a little bit until Geo is going to open it up once again. Astro will be the death from Faze. It's all up to Ion in a 1 versus 4. He's going to be droned out, but Geo's going to lose his life as Ion trying to go big, but NVK,
nice.
No, not today. Skin likes to call it on his wrist.
All right, so
have the pressure once again. Cameraman and Astro playing hard set inside of CCTV.
What adjustments can EG actually make to get through here? First, they have to kill the guy in office if they want to push through the doorway, because he just got shot from 2 different angles and died. Canadian trades it out somewhere, but it's questionable as to whether or not that kill is actually effective. Oh my goodness. So, they kill one down low, but they still don't have CC control. So the trade is good, but smoke dead is a big deal on the defensive side. And then this wall being opened up, EG has to come up with different angles to push this from. The 2 different positions that they need to dislodge are behind half wall and inside of office. They can, if they dislodge one, they can push the other relatively safely. But it's just not working out the way they need it to. Oh, what a shot!
This man's been an absolute monster on Twitch all season, and he's definitely showing his prowess right now in round number 4.
Alright, so Young and Geo are pushing in, and they've come back together for the retrade, and it's 2 versus 2. They know that Echo was playing behind the half wall before, so they're thinking to themselves that if they can push in at the right time, they can get in. But the problem is that Yuna's Echo, so it would have been better if they somehow were able to push Echo, but they couldn't. So the positioning there from Faze, even though it's a 2v2 and unable to retrade, with the time management that EG had on attack, Faze had the advantage the entire time.
That's timing in the absolute last second of the round.
But it also comes down to kind of like a coin flip, because if EG decide to go back outside the main wall, like armory wall, and push half wall instead, it's questionable as to whether or not the Maestro cams were actually in position to help anything.
Faze is going to walk away with that once again. We'll have to see what Evil Genius is going to make for an adjustment.
It's a great shot.
They can go back.
Oops. A little bit too far.
They have 2. Faze has 2. Both of those were on fence attacking wise. So more than likely going to be going back downstairs. They can
side and the portion blown open. So a good adaptation here from Faze. to realize that Evil Geniuses are always starting with this armory attack, as is quite typical with a top clear. And also this alteration here. First time they defended Vent Workshop, they didn't reinforce detention walls, and Canadian was able to buck his way in and have control over the main hallway. This time around, in the last round, they defended Vent Workshop as well. They reinforced it, so this will force Young to blow it open. And as we see on this drone here, Young is calling for the death of Cameraman, but instead it'll be Canadian. He tries to peek the window in this soft wall, catching Canadian off guard. EG getting
That's unfortunate.
Well, that's a way to hold down half wall and armory. Why don't we just put an LMG there with an ACOG, have it spray down the balcony? And that's exactly what's going to happen, as Canadian's going to end up losing his life to Yuna.
There's just no call that that wall's open, and Young's so intent on trying to get that other kill. And unfortunately, Geo pushing by himself without time for a refrag.
Circling the drain here, but on the vault, NVK will drop one, unaware of the member behind him as well, as this is still Astro in behind the circle monitors. Multiple members of EG descending upon them, but they have to wear the far side. And
nice. This is great. Okay. So they realize that there's one playing behind half wall, and they saw the Jaeger and where he was positioned, right? And once NVK can push up and vault in and kill Jaeger, Necrox looks towards half wall at the most likely peeking Maestro to try to help his teammate and gets that kill. And then they know that Vigil's behind the monitor because of the gunfire, and he gets taken down by Young pushing through the door. So the actual push onto CC with the proper timing and operators in the right position was very effective there, and it's able to even up the man count and actually give them the advantage. So now EG need to either open up angles above and have a plant go down in B-bomb with someone up above the rotate, somebody outside a front door, and the last person planting, which looks like that's kind of what's going on. So I'd imagine that Necrox is going to open up the floor if he needs to, unless like some picks are gotten right here. But there's 50 seconds left, and I think that NVK heard Legion going into the bathroom. So right here, he's going to watch the rotate from above, and the other two attackers are going to push. But it's actually a very all over the place attack. Where is Young and where is he trying to plant? Okay, so yeah, Young is in B-bomb. Yeah, so they still planted in B, but they needed somebody to be above the rotate, which is what NVK was doing. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that rotate from Necrox was, but he just wanted to, I guess he just wanted to have that angle through to see if anybody was rotating from bathroom side over. Because if NVK calls out that there is a guy in bathroom, then that's a good call. But it's better if he's up above. Not up above, outside front door. Because NVK can't watch the front door.
Looked shaky, but still serviceable. Their attacks really were where they were dominating, so not surprising to see that they have the lead right now. And their response to this bathroom teller's hold will really make all the difference. And a punch hole by NVK prone is able to remove almost all the life of Yuna as he tries to rush up. And he'll challenge once again. NVK victorious over Yuna.
Yuna didn't know where he was getting shot from. That sucks.
Beautiful entry so far from Evil Geniuses.
We talked about CCTV and how you can get so many lines of sight from that one single room, and Evil Geniuses is going to prove that point right there, as they are going to clean the life of Yuna. No more Electro Claws on the field. NBK can possibly hop up on the shelf, but actually the monitor is going to be destroyed. Very smart play there by Faze. Traditionally speaking, you can hop up onto that bookshelf, getting a nice line of sight all of the entire office side, but they're going to pull that away from them. Yet another bullet/punch hole going to be made inside of CCTV to make sure that nobody can rotate up east stairs to try and assist any of these Faze members currently locked down and fighting for their lives inside of offices.
This setup by Faze doesn't make any sense to me. There's so many soft walls.
Drone's not spotting him out. He's not inside workshop. He's actually in the bathroom right now, playing behind the bomb chassis, as the last three remaining members of Faze will play topside inside of office. You need that top.
There's so many soft walls here, and NVK is just waiting for a drone.
Evil Geniuses have established that they have enough top control. least for the time being. They'll probably send NVK through in a moment. He's currently just flank holding now. Ping's come out onto a soft wall here, and NVK will reveal his position by firing on through. No connection, and again, shots from Errant, but they will not connect onto Cameraman. Ion taking a lot of damage downstairs, though.
NVK's trying to push into Office. They know they need to take at least some control of Office, and Necrox is holding the angle from CCTV onto East Staircase, so none of the defenders can rotate out. They can only drop hatches. That leaves Geo, Canadian, and Young to try to push into Bathroom. Because the Office only gives so much coverage into the Bathroom. Still a lot, but only so much. So they know they have a better chance of planning in Bathroom than they do inside of Tellers.
And this is Evil Geniuses sending it in towards the objective.
A split take here for Evil Geniuses as they're finally going to find Ion. They're going to have to try and hold it down from upstairs as Mav has an answer, but Necrox fires back. Evil Geniuses trying to walk away with it. Gunfight with Cameraman is Necrox, but neither of them are going to find a fatal blow, and Astro gets aggressive. Cameraman going to back him up, but Diffuser's going to go down here for Evil Geniuses.
Oh, and Geo's already pushed up all the way onto this castle.
It's Cameraman. Who's going to win it? Geo's going to win the initial gunfight. Astro goes down. It's all left into the hands of Cameraman here for FaZe Clan. He's still upstairs. Gonna have to try and find a way back down. Is it gonna be East Stairs, or is he going to go for the hatch? Rotates back towards, Archives, as he's going to be challenging towards the backside. Pre-fire by Canadian. He's gonna find the answer, and that's gonna be
next round.
Rotates down. You gotta be wary for anyone jumping out of that. It doesn't look like Evil Geniuses are well concerned.
Back up to Armory, and now this is a Faze on attack this time. EG doesn't have the angles that Faze had opened up earlier. So they're obviously going to be holding it differently.
Either you play some bodies over in CCTV, or you play some bodies over in offices, or at least in Fountain. So where you're going to be wanting to hold down. Sometimes they do play somebody down low, and Evil Geniuses is going to be doing exactly that, as we do have a body currently inside of stock, but going to rotate over to Customs. Don't even know exactly who it is just yet, as it appears to be Necrox. No, he's actually inside of Fountain. It's going to be Canadian downstairs with the mute. Having that Nitro cell, playing that vertically, very smart here for Evil Geniuses.
There really isn't much variation on border because it's been so played out. It's kind of hard to come up with anything in depth because it's all just so standard. Like, take control of CC, push Armory, take control of offices, push archives. You know.
Armory wall, and Yuna's going to try and back himself in and go for a plant immediately. Having to relocate the Echo Drone now will be NVK, but it's 2 swift kills for FaZe.
They know the plant's coming down, so EG has to move, but FaZe is already in position to hold every push because they just let them get CC control so fast. My goodness, that was a blowout. That was a blowout of a round. So see, look, now EG has to control CC. They want to try to control it, so they're altering their setup a little bit. Same rotation holes that FaZe was using into the hallway. And they're just trying to pinpoint the positioning of the ADSs, trying to get rid of this shield that Canadian's using. Where did Cameraman? He just jumped through the window. Wow. They just dismantled that. One from the window, one from the door, and one from the Armory wall door. And now they're set up. Now they're going to be set up the exact same way they were before, and they're just going to open up the wall. Oh, nice shot.
NVK will hit the floor. More line up for Geo, though, as he's lining up with that all. The 48 out of 81 bullets remaining. Pings on the softball. He'll down another one. Ion will go down. So 1v2. Another one peeks the
Oh, that was so close. Geo almost had that. That would have been crazy.
Turns the corner, and he'll secure the kill onto Geo. FaZe again picking up the aggression, and they'll draw things even at a 4-4 scoreline.
That is the
Boost my channel.
Alda in the proper hands, man.
I'll get right on that.
It will have to be an adaptation, and I imagine the adaptation will be to peel back slightly. I don't think
So what can EG do here if they can't stop the CCTV take? What operators can they take to try to stop it? I'm kind of surprised that they're not trying to use a mute to stop it. Bringing Maestro and Echo is definitely the right thing to do, I think. But I feel like mute instead of Vigil would work, but that's what they tried to do before, and it didn't. So it's kind of hard to determine how it's supposed to go.
They made a handful of adjustments with reinforcements as well as where they're allocating bodies. It appears that Faze is going to be taking things just a touch slower, but you're going to hear the Telltale Sensor breach charge go off by the hands of Ion. Biggest thing right now is that they're not really bringing anything to delay, all except for those toxic babes in the hands of Young. Could still bring Legion. There's a lot of other things that he could try and bring to slow down Faze, but right now it seems like they want to try and battle back by getting the initial.
So they're just not even going to contest CC. They're just going to let them take it again. And I'm surprised they're not like taking Pulse or something to try to C4 it from below, but they do. But Faze does have IQ, so it's not going to be that efficient even if they were to bring it. They're just trying to figure out how to win Armory so they can win another site.
Blown wide open. No stopping that on the side of Evil Geniuses. They're going to allow it to happen once again. The big focus has to be, are you going to allow them to attempt the plant? Ion again will finally spot Canadian to the top of East stairs and stuns canisters.
All right, so the wall's open. They want to get rid of that shield. Canadian's going to get taken down trying to flank East because, like I said, like FaZe is holding all the angles that they need to hold. They're literally 2 at the wall, 1 in CC, 1 downstairs, 1 watching East flank. Whether they're on East stairs watching it or above it, it doesn't matter. But now that the flank is dead, Mav can rotate around to use his nades to find other equipment to destroy, or nade out different operators. This is actually really good from Cameraman coming downstairs to look for the Echo drones if they're low enough to the floor, because the Echo drones and the smoke canisters are the only things that can stop him right now. So Young is going to set that off, but Geo is in a bad spot. Like, he's trying to challenge this, and there's too many guns trained on him. Like, he just can't fight that.
It's going to start going down to the hands of Yuna. Young going to Toxic Babe once again, but Yuna going to have to abandon ship. Astro claims to as he's getting aggressive.
Oh my goodness.
Will eventually down him. It's Yuna and Mav all alone outside, but Young all alone on his roster.
Oh, this is the ridiculous clutch that Young had.
Oh my god, what is that? Young quad kill. Who does
Yeah.
that?
Young just slapped those fools. That was just great individual play. But because FaZe should have won that. FaZe should have won that one. But Young just went off, just took them all out.
So the attacking side here from FaZe, you have to shake off that round and you have to refocus in towards clearing out CCTV and getting in towards Armory Wall, where Evil Geniuses have stacked a multitude of defenders.
3 men upstairs is the play for Evil Geniuses. A couple different vertical angles being selected as NVK is going to be holding down ventilation.
In case you guys are wondering why that hatch is reinforced when they're defending downstairs, and that's nowhere like near the site, seemingly, is because they want to keep control of customs for as long as possible, because that holds a lot of rotations around the map. So typically what will happen is once the attackers take control of Armory, because they don't need to use their hard breach for anything else, they don't absolutely have to open up Bathroom Wall, but like some teams do it. But once they open up Armory Wall, they'll just use their other thermite on that hatch, because when that hatch gets opened, it gives you control of customs, and then it also gives you control of any rotations through the main hallway at the bottom of Metal. So now that the wall is open, EG should rotate away, which is what's happening. EG is rotating into offices where they can be safer and still delay up top control for as long as possible, because the hatch above ventilations is a good spot to play. But now Faze established control based on that kill of Customs, and Geo is going to be trying to deny just information and maybe get a pick and run away. But EG just has to stay alive here, and they're, you know, trying to rotate back downstairs. But see, now that Faze has control of Customs, it's going to be really hard for them to get back into the site because the walls towards bathroom, unless there's no castle there, there's no way for them to get back in. So NVK is forced to challenge this angle and try to rotate.
Closer and closer. Necrox will take down Mav as well, leveling up man count, and Necrox has top control outside CCTV.
And yeah, there's nowhere for him to go. But Geo is still above this hatch, which is what they need. They need Geo to stay alive above that hatch. If Geo dies, Faze wins.
4v3 now. They're trying to push in through the front door to ventilation and get the plant down. Unit dropping it, and Cameraman pushing in the backside will take down Young. A drop here from Geo, but it won't be in time to stall out the plant. Into the back now of the hallway will be Necrox coming down the main stairs with a flick by Unit, too powerful. Geo able to clean up one onto Cameraman. He's got another member down. It's a technical 1v2, but outside Ion holds the corner beautifully, and that is.
This is a really close game.
Rotation back after that armory wall has been opened up. That has been ineffectual on both sides for this specific site.
Evil Genius is going to have to try and find something that gives here on this Faze offense, because as of right now, even the round that they won, that was in the bag of Faze. It just ended up hopping out because Young did something that does not traditionally happen. So, as we are on round number 11 here, they still have yet to find a true answer to this offense of Faze. Evil Geniuses once again looking to try and make an adjustment, placing some ADSs up top, but they're going to get immediately burnt by some stun grenades. Mav to follow in with that frag grenade, ends up getting those bandit batteries off, and that's going to be all she wrote for the armory lockers wall. This appears to be an exact mirror of the previous round so far.
Yeah, so Geo's going to peel off towards metal detectors, and this time around he's the only one over by armory.
Yeah, so opening this hatch should give them control of Customs, and then they can watch the main stairs flank from above.
The castle barricade's holding off the rotation to the main hallway, so they can't really go cleanly over to CCTV. They'd have to drop down or rip open that castle barricade to get back into the main hallway. They could come up metal stairs, although that'd be a rather precarious conundrum for them to deal with. Two members for Faze inside a supply room, and they're bouncing up on one another right now. It's Ion and Astros. They're trying to dispatch of this first Evil Eye, and it looks like that was successful at doing so. I can't tell, there's a drone icon in the way. But nonetheless, intel for Evil Geniuses inside the objective once again, going to be crucial to know when this
so
is coming out from Faze.
This is going to be a textbook setup from Faze. Zofia outside the window. Thermite comes in for the plant in this area. One outside front door watching, another one upstairs watching. This is exactly how this is going to go. Young can delay this. And EG can go for a retake. Yeah, so he tries to stick it, but he can't. The fuser down's a big problem. Zofia and Twitch don't need to move here. They need to stay in their spots, and someone else needs to rotate over, which is probably how NVK picked off Necrox. And then now it's all over once that pick goes, because NVK can flank.
That's what he's going to try and win out, but it's going to be against Geo. Is Geo going to put a couple rounds into Mav, but 5 seconds left on the clock. This round going Evil Genius's way.
Faulting aimlessly over the metal stairs, but
so if Thermite in that case would have not tried to stick the plant, which he probably thought he could. He was probably more than halfway. He probably could have done it if he had one more second. It was just perfectly timed smoke by Young. But once Thermite dies, Twitch and Zofia just need to hold their angles, sledges above in the rotation. Everything's covered. All they need to do is rotate one person back around. But the problem is that person was holding Customs, and as soon as they tried to rotate, NVK got the kill on them, and that forces that the entire push falls apart. The execute onto the site falls apart right then.
Same ways that they did the last time. Traditionally speaking, Faze, at least
So EG won that round because they did a good job of staying alive and having the bodies to keep Faze occupied they know that they have to look in different directions. So that was the issue right there. Thank you, Checkmatrix. I appreciate it.
Under 20 HP at this point. So, not boding too well here for Faze so far.
Curious where that did come from, and Ion's drone will spot out that Necrox is making his way into break room. One vaults in the window, and Yuna will fall. An immediate trade, though, for Ion onto Canadian as he tries to fashion himself a rotation. The ping's coming out, but not enough. Still be the saving grace for Ion. And Necrox will fall. The two-man push into CCTV.
Okay, so the question is the wall closed? Did they take out Thermite before it could be open? No, they didn't. So the wall is still open, and they traded out inefficiently. Maybe they still have their Echo drones. I'm not sure. Checkmate Eris. Okay. Yeah, no worries, Checkmate Eris. It's cool. You don't have to. Technically, it is still a caster position. It's just versus. It's just commentator versus analyst is the only difference. Okay, so EG knows. So the reason that happened, EG knows that they have to try to stop the CC take. Because it's been so strong, and the only time they've been able to defend Armory Lockers successfully is when Young gets a 4K when he's not supposed to. So they try to implement something different, a different kind of team tactic. They want to drive the Echo drones in, get Necrox in there, and try to get him a kill. It doesn't net him a kill because Zofia is still watching the cross as she's supposed to if the wall is unreinforced facing towards metal. Canadian, coming in through the other rotation, comes in at the same time and gets killed, I believe, by IQ, if I'm not mistaken. So the idea is good. Execution was, the timing of the execution was so close, but EG's just trying to do something to throw Faze off, and it's somewhat working. There's a minute left. They don't have their typical planter. This is going to force Sledge to potentially plant, which is what they're setting up for. They can't have Twitch plant because he's too low on health. And they don't want Astro to plant because he's been covering the planter every time. So this takes Sledge out of the equation, who's typically watching over the diffuser as well. But, you know, like, it's still so difficult. It's still so difficult to stop this push because they're watching the exact angles they need to. The Echo drones still aren't going to be in position, even though Geo gets a kill from below, which is the right play, but he's not the right op to be doing it because he can't flank the way that he actually needs to. He doesn't have the speed to do it. So if NVK moves the Echo drones to try to figure out exactly where they are, which is exactly what he's doing, maybe it can work, but the timing of it, because Geo is, you know, just too slow. Not because, like, he's not fast enough as a player, but as an operator, he's just not in the right position. So EG played that as best they could, but the attack from Faze is just way too strong. So now, going into overtime, EG is on attack, and now Faze have to try to defend. And we're going to see what Faze does differently that EG could not when they were defending up here, if Faze is successful.
So far, whereas Vents has been played 5, you said the one variance was Bathroom, which was played 1 time. So definitely offensive-sided so far, but this time around they're going to leave open detention here.
Okay.
Canadian's going to get to take up his traditional spot. Eddie takes inside of stock, but this time he's not going to win it out.
So Canadian and Cameraman effectively trade in terms of damage, but Cameraman can stay alive and throw legions, so it's not that big a deal. He can still do plenty of damage with those legion mines depending on the positioning. Geo. Okay, I actually remember this round. So Geo wants to go for a hot breach because they know that if they can dislodge Maestro from behind half wall, they can push in and go for the plant. And they don't actually have to take control of CC because Maestro dying is going to force the defenders to rotate.
looks like Gio's gonna go for a send. A hop reach into the sandwich window. He takes down Yuna and vaults right back out. Gets that pick and will cause havoc and chaos in the communications of Faze. And you can see everyone trying to retreat now. The battle here, and Astra will fall at the hands of Necrox. It's pure insanity on the side of Faze right now as they believe that Gio is still in the objective. They have to retreat back. Ion has gone downstairs now, and Gio is covering the flank outside. No one
this was 100% the right play.
It was enough to set Faze, though, into a panic.
Do something crazy to force Faze into a position where they don't know if they should rotate or not, and they get caught in their rotations. Now that they've fully retreated out of CC, EGE can take it with a man count advantage and take the site the way that they want to, as opposed to playing into what Faze want them to do, which is to push into their defense inside of CC.
Only difference is Evil Geniuses stills everybody up, but quite a bit of damage done to Gio and Canadian. Gio's already rotated basically across the entire map, all the way over to take off Mav, but Cameraman will back it up. As it's all down to Ion and Cameraman, and as soon as I say that, Canadian will find
once they establish the positionings, once they establish where Faze is positioned upon Gio's death and pick, they know they can push into the site and they get it.
Gonna find the round and push them
So, Gio hot breaching and taking out the anchor, who's supposed to be holding, who's essentially the glue holding Faze's defense together, because Faze has, when they're defending CC, they have two people in CC, one in office, Maestro behind the half wall, and then one inside of archives. So effectively, Maestro is the least defended operator. So EG can figure that out, and they say to themselves, if we can just get rid of this Maestro playing behind half wall, we can kill everyone else playing in CC, because that's the hardest position to dislodge when we're pushing from the west side. So they were able to recognize that and just take it down.
Their entire season rides on this one round. If they give it up, Evil Geniuses goes on to the final. They're able to fight back. They live to fight for at least one.
If Astro gets back on his drone and sees Echo still sitting right there, I'm going to be shocked.
No emotion.
That's probably Cameraman trying to switch to it to see if Echo's still sitting there, but he's not.
So the attack towards the armory wall seemingly takes a little bit longer than it typically does, but Yuna will finally get out towards that armory wall, and pressure from multiple angles. This is something we haven't seen yet from Faze, which is Astra out on AC, popping open the wall in towards small office, awaiting possible rotations. And that was the saving grace for Evil Geniuses when they tried to bail out of armory, was that there was no one really impeding their progress towards a safe haven on the opposite side of the map. But there's a run out coming out from NVK, and a mission by Ion. He's going to drop all the way downstairs into supply room, and no one will punish.
He must have just ran out the thermite breach, which is something ridiculous that shouldn't work, but it does.
The entire matchup between them and Evil Geniuses is lagged behind just a bit. Did not put out their maximum amount of aggression. Evil Geniuses had the chance to come back. They had the chance to adjust, and it's fared so very well for them. And this round is starting the
They might have even actually had an Echo drone placed to give him the intel to run out like that. Which I find to be a likely scenario, given that Echo was upstairs earlier. And depending on if Cameraman was actually able to find the Echo drones. But that's exactly what they needed. They needed to get the man advantage and just stay alive as long as they could. And NVK's positioning right here in the supply room is just too powerful, because FaZe Clan's attack focuses on 3 main positions. One upstairs, one outside the main door, and one outside the window. If you can dislodge one of those 3 positions, then the attack falls apart. Because not only does the person outside main door have to cover this area, but the person going in for the plant is coming in through the main door. So what we saw the last round was Twitch holding the angle out here, Zofia out here on the window, Thermite going for the plant, and Sledge up top, and then IQ, I can't remember where IQ's position was, but that position, her positioning isn't really relevant in this case. So now as this push comes out from Faze, it doesn't really matter where the rest of EG is positioned as long as they can stay alive. Other than Young and NVK, they're the only ones that matter. So the plant is going in through the window.
He'll grab one, turns for two, but Astro in the response. It's a 2v2 and there's no time remaining. 5 seconds left. The plant going down from Astro as he has to rush in through the corridor.
Yeah, it's just so dislodged. And Cameraman is so lost. Cameraman is so out of position that he can't even help. And so EG win.
It's North America. It's
yeah. So
Yay, the Raleigh Major. Yay, I'm going to be there. Hooray. I'm going to be at the Raleigh Major. Woohoo. So yeah, let me skip forward a lot actually, because the last map, the last one that I need to do is the finals. Okay, so I only have one map analysis left to do, or one match analysis left to do, and it's the finals. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. But thank you guys who have tuned in to these matches that I've done in the past couple of days. I'm going to be finishing this up tomorrow, and I plan on doing the Vegas minor tournament as well, which should be really interesting because of the lower level teams that are going to be there. There aren't going to be as many pro teams. So we're going to see, there's going to be a lot to analyze out of that, as opposed to what we saw a lot of the Milan Major, or the Milan Pro League Finals, which was, you know, lots of the same types of attacks over and over and over again, because they've been so fleshed out and the meta is so well established at the pro level. But at the semi-pro level and pro team versus, you know, semi-pro team in terms of Challenger League versus Pro League, there's a lot to talk about and a lot to analyze because it's played differently. So yeah, I can't wait to do that. But thank you guys for tuning in. I might stream a little bit of TTS later, but not right now. I will see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in.